where there is no sewer which is existing, no STP which is present in these towns. And we have proposed a sewer network of around 195 kilometer rising main. And plus, if you can check the average STP capacity, turns out to be 3 to 4 MLD. Out of these 56 towns, the class 2 towns are 4, 16 are 3, and class 4 towns are 36. So we have prepared 54 DPRs out of 56 and tendered out 39 DPRs, and we have already awarded work for around 26. My topic is DPR planning and preparation. So I have briefed out the contents. The first thing which we'll be doing is the execution framework, causes of the project delays related to DPRs, the areas, key areas we need to focus, preparation of DPR, some tendering process and eligibility criteria, and whatever we are provided with some technology provider clause, and the challenges which we have faced till now in the implementation. Execution framework, basically sir has already divided that there are 5 stages. The first and foremost stage is the survey, planning and analysis part. The more we focus on this area, the lesser we'll be facing the difficulties during the execution, and more will be smoother the execution process. In the DPR preparation, what we have done is back. No sir, back. Thank you. In the DPR preparation part, what we have done is, we have standardized one format at the head office level. We called all the field offices with the various years of experiences. We called them at the head office. We spent around 2 to 4 weeks standardizing the DPR portion. What we did was we prepared a standard DPR of, let's say, 100 pages. We chalked out that the page number 4, 10, 15 and 18 will carry these datas. Like page number 4 will carry the soil investigation data. Page number 10 will carry the inlet parameters data. Page number 16 will carry the technology portion specifications. And page number 24 will be related to the sewage network pipeline design. So what we did was we freezed all these specifications, and based on what the field offices will have to do, in spite of spending their time on 100 pages, they just have to focus on 5 to 6 pages. So what that converted into, if we did not follow a planning approach in the DPR, what causes delays are, first, from the point of the STP land, if a site selected is not good, that is, if it is having some legal complications, it is an encroached land, or if it is having some flooded areas, or it is at a lower levels, it is not approachable. So we spend more of the times, at least we can say more of a time in spending on time on these issues rather than on the smoother constructions. So whatever the causes of the DPR which lead to project delay, we have to eradicate at the start only. That becomes an important part in planning. So a proper site selection has to be there, soil investigations, proper design parameters to be considered. Just like Chaurasia sir said, that you don't need to go into a 10 BOD or this, we can take at 30 BOD, and design parameters need to be fixed considering the O&M cost and what is the budget of the state. Then earlier we used to face a problem that in one of the DPR some scope is written, in one of the DPR another scope is written. So the contractors working at 2 different locations did not get an idea, sir, I am doing this at that location and I am doing this at this location. My scope starts from X point to Y point, whereas in your DPR it starts from X to Z. So we, during the standardization process, we clearly defined the scope. So it did not lead to any problem in the execution. Inadequate project drawings is a consequence of a non-comprehensive survey. If a comprehensive survey is done at the start, all the project drawings are listed, then it does not become a problem, and the person who is quoting the tender knows each and every part. It does not keep into account any unforeseen item which has not been shown in the project drawings. And one thing we improved this time from our last experiences is the realistic project timelines. Earlier we used to give only 12 months for the STP construction. This time around we focused and had a meeting with all the contractors. They told us that an ideal time for an STP construction right from the designing till the completion is 18 months. We agreed to their suggestions, and this time around in our DPRs, we took the timelines for the project as the 18 months for the construction right from the designing and the handing over of site. So they can also spend around 3 to 4 months time in the soil investigation again, their hydraulic flow diagrams and the engineering part. And then when they can mobilize their labor, they can do construction relatively easily. DPR preparation has been done by the engineers of PWSSB and including obviously the supporting staff. We did not hire any consultants for this project. In Punjab, we have already have an experience of around 100 STPs which are constructed. So it was a good experience that we already had all the types of technologies available, all the types of construction which has already been done. That experience brought us to the preparation of a very good sample DPR which was done. We had various meetings with the ministry. Chaurasia sir guided us of all the clauses we could have. And then once the sample DPR was prepared, we circulated to the field staff. And what they did is in around a week's time or 10 days, they could come up with their individual DPR based on their scope, the funds which were available to them, and then the actual site requirements which they had. Again, a thing which we did for the first time in Punjab was, in all the cities where the sewer network is not existing, what is happening is all the water from the individual households is flowing from the drains into a nearest water body or a pond. In most of the cases, in most of the ULBs, which are very small, in around 10 to 20,000 population, they have 3 to 4 ponds which are existing in each of the ULBs. So firstly, we made a conscious effort that we need to design the sewer of that whole ULB, be it branch sewer or the trunk sewer. After doing that, we decided to tap each of the pond. I'll show you in the next. This is a case of Bilga, which is a ULB of around 15,000 capacity. This is in Jalandhar district, Punjab. This is a 15,000 population ULB. It is having 8 ponds. So what we got was, we took our time around 6 months for the identification of land. We got it from MC. It was an municipal corporation land only which was available. And then what we did was, we tapped all the 8 ponds which were available, designed whole the network of the ULB, and then we laid the actual size as required as per the design statement, so that in future when state or ministry offer us funds for the branch sewer, this main sewer will not be relayed, will not be disposed of, or will not be reused. So this is the thing which saved a lot of money, and you cannot every time dig roads and come back again with a sewer of a different size or depth again and again. So this happened as one of the success stories in Punjab, that we were able to have all the ponds tapped, plus lay the trunk sewer. And after that, one thing which we proposed again was, from ponds into the trunk sewer, we proposed a screening chamber with a weir. In case of a dry weather flow, it will move into the trunk sewer. In case of a wet weather flow, when the flow is more than what is, and there is a monsoon or rainy seasons, it will flow into the ponds again for that amount of time. Only for the rainy season it will go into the ponds. Else for every time during the year for 9 to 10 months, it will flow into the STP. During the tendering process, what we started was we prepared the documents in-house only, and these were called on the basis of turnkey, that is EPC contract only, where the technology of STP kept as open, including an operation maintenance of 5 years. This time, for the first time, PWSSB experimented with calling the tenders for STP, FSTP, MPS, rising main, sewer network, and reuse of water, all in a single contract. And we had a huge success. Around 26 tenders we have got already. So this success was based on that we even allowed the joint venture. We had various meetings with the sewer contracts. They were earlier not ready to move into the field of STPs, but once they saw it as a future to be done in India, so they came forward and said, okay, so we allow you, you go ahead with the joint venture tenders, hybrid tenders, we'll quote the tenders. For the eligibility criteria, only 2 or 3 things which we edited. We allowed them that all the participants, all the bidders can meet the requirements, and for them, where they have already constructed an STP, they need not have the technology provider MOU, where they are already doing it on a same technology. The challenges I have already told that land is a challenge, resistance at various places owing to smell, that the land rates will go down, we don't have the access, there will be a sludge disposal issues. They became the issues. I would request Ministry to provide further funds once we go into the completion of the SBM for the branch sewer also. And now our focus mainly is on operation maintenance part. One thing which state is now deciding, we are taking up with the PEDA, an organization for installing solar plants on all the STPs on rooftop and the area which is remaining. Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. 2-3 चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इन्होंने करके किया है. पूरे टाउन का प्लान करके और जितना फंड अवेलेबल है, दे आर पुटिंग ट्रंक मैन लेटर ऑन व्हेन एवर फंड कम दैट कैन बी यूटिलाइज. सेकंड, दे हैव बीन पैनल्ड एजेंसी, दे आर हेल्पिंग. एंड सेकेंडली, व्हाट एवर द कंस्टेंट्स आर देयर, दे आर ट्राइंग टू एड्रेस, नॉट लिविंग ऑन कंट्रैक्टर एंड अदर. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. नाउ आई विल रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर जरोडिया, प्लीज कम.
नमस्कार सभी को मेरी ओर से. मैं आर जारोलिया ऐसी यूडीडी मध्य प्रदेश से आता हूँ. मध्य प्रदेश में हमारी टीम हमारी महुआ की जीएस मैडम के निर्देशों में, आदेशों, मार्गदर्शन में, और हमारी टीम हमारे विभाग के पीएस सर, कमिश्नर, मिशन डायरेक्टर सर, डिप्टी मिशन डायरेक्टर सर, और मेरे साथ मेरी कुलिंग एग्जीक्यूटिव इंजीनियर मिस प्रियंका धानापुने, मेरे साथी, मेरे सहयोगी कंसल्टेंट मिस्टर कार्तिक तिवारी, ऐश्वर्य तिवारी की टीम के साथ हम मध्य प्रदेश में ह्यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट SBM 2 के तहत जो कार्य कर रहे हैं. हमारे स्टेट में नंबर ऑफ ULB 418 हैं, जिसमें हमारे 33 शहर अमृत टाउन में जो है ना सीवरेज नेटवर्क में पहले कवर हो चुके हैं, और जिसमें हमारा जो है ना सीवर नेटवर्क विद STP कंप्लीट हो चुका है, या मतलब जो है ना फंक्शनल हो चुका है, और कुछ हमारे शहर में जो है ना वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस भी है. प्रोग्रेस भी है. और हमारे 32 शहर हमारी MPUDC मध्य प्रदेश अर्बन डेवलपमेंट कंपनी हमारे यहाँ गठित है. तो हमारे जो है 32 शहर जो है ना KFW जो है ना ADB या अदर जो है ना फंडिंग एजेंसी से फंड ले करके वो जो है ना काम कर रही हैं। तो हमने जो है ना ओवरऑल 353 जो है ना ULB को इस स्कीम में जो है ना शामिल करके वो इस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं, जिसकी टोटल जो है ना हमारी STP की कैपेसिटी 866 MLD है। और हमारा इन सभी में इंटरसेप्शन डाइवर्सन में जो भी हमारा नेटवर्क है वो 1497 जो है ना किलोमीटर है। हमारी म्यूनसिपैलिटियों के पास अभी हमारे पास जो है ना 195 डीसल्यूशन जो है व्हीकल हमारे पास उपलब्ध हैं। और इन हमारी जो है ना म्यूनसिपैलिटियों को जो है ना पॉपुलेशन बेस्ड हमारा जो एलोकेशन जो फंड है वो 2459 CR, सेंट्रल शेयर 1229.5 CR है, स्टेट शेयर 983.60 CR है। और हमारी ULB का शेयर भी हम जो है ना मिलाने का हमने कमिटमेंट लिया है, तो 245 जो है ना CR है। ये हमारा जो DPR है वो 131 जो है ना हमारी DPR 1 के स्टूडेंट हो चुकी है। कौन सा? हाँ ये वाला चीज है ना। अच्छा इधर ठीक है, ओके ठीक। हमारे जो है ना 14 प्रोजेक्ट पेपर होकर के SLT से 208 DPR हमारी जो है ना अप्रूव हो चुकी हैं, जिसकी कॉस्ट 1199.44 जो है CR है। टेंडर हमारे जो है 17 में हो चुके हैं। और हमारे जो है ना ये प्रोजेक्ट 178 में हमारे जो है ना टेंडर फ्लोट हो चुके हैं। हमारे इसमें हमने जो है ना एक तय किया है कि 5 करोड़ से जो है ना अधिक की DPR में हम इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज से जो है ना बेटिंग करा रहे हैं। इसमें हमारे 17 प्रोजेक्ट जो है ना अवार्ड हो चुके हैं। और अभी हमारी जो प्रोग्रेस है मतलब जो है ना 20% यानी सर्वे वर्क स्टार्टेड बाय द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, और जो है ना फिजिकल प्रोग्रेस और जो है ना फाइनेंशियल प्रोग्रेस अभी हमारे इसमें जो है ना नील है। इसमें यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट के में जो है ना हमने 26 कंसल्टेंट जो हमारे एम्पेनल्ड है इनका जो है ना हमने DPR प्रिपरेशन में सहयोग लिया है। और हमारी जो गाइडलाइन और SFB के जो है ना प्रिपरेशन के तहत जो हमारी यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट के जो है ना हमारे जो नॉर्म्स हैं, तो इसमें पॉपुलेशन, टेरेन, रिवर एंड बैंक टाउन्स और नंबर ऑफ ड्रेन्स इन टाउन, इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉमर्शियल इंपॉर्टेंस, इसमें जो है ना इसको हमने पूरा देखते हुए इसमें हमने जो है ना DPR तैयार की हैं। बेस्ड ऑन क्लासिफिकेशन एबव टाउन्स जो है ना अप्रूवल DPR, और इसको हमने जो है ना 3 लेवल पर जो है ना DPR का वैलिडेशन का तय किया है। पहला ULB लेवल पर, तो इसमें हमारी जो है ना लोकल निर्वाचित जो एक बॉडी है, इसमें एक PIC होती है, प्रेसिडेंट काउंसिल, तो उनसे अप्रूवल लिया है। देन सेकंड हमारा जो है ना डिवीजन लेवल पर हमारे सुपरिटेंडेंट इंजीनियर जो है ना पोस्टेड रहते हैं, तो उनसे भी हमने DPR को जो है ना वैलिडेशन यानी उनके एग्जामिन और रिकमेंडेशन को हमने जो है ना निर्धारित किया है। और उसके बाद हम स्टेट लेवल पर जो है ना हमारी इंटरनल टेक्निकल कमेटी का गठन करके उससे जो है ना हम पूरा परीक्षण करते हैं। उसके बाद हम जो है ना SLT टेक्निकल कमेटी के सामने ले जाते हैं। और उसके बाद फाइनली जो है ना रिव्यू अंडर द चेयर, मतलब हमारे जो है ना UDD के जो कमिश्नर हैं सर हैं, वो फाइनली हम जो है ना उनके सामने जो है ना इसको रिव्यू करके और फिर जो है ना फाइनल करते हैं। फील्ड वैलिडेशन जो है ना ये इसमें हमने इम्पेनल्ड कंसल्टेंट, ULB के इंजीनियर्स, डिविजनल इंजीनियर्स और स्टेट PMU टीम का जो है ना हम इसमें सपोर्ट ले रहे हैं और डीपीआर वैलिडेशन जो है ना हमारे अभी डीपीआर वैलिडेशन हम जो है ना करा रहे हैं, अंडर प्रोग्रेस हैं। एक हमारा शहर जो है ना उमरिया, ये चैलेंजिंग जो है ना हमारा टाउन है और प्रोजेक्ट टेम्पलेट जो है ना इसके करने के लिए तो हमने जैसे इसकी जो केस स्टडी जो की है वो मैं कुछ आपके सामने जो है ना इसमें लाना चाहूँगा कि हमारी जो बाउंड्री हमने शहर की जो मार्क की है और इसमें जो है ना जो नाला हमने जो दिखाया है, इसमें हमारे सामने जो चैलेंज है वो हमने मैप में भी दिखाने का प्रयास किया है। इसमें जो चैलेंज है हमारे प्रोजेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, ये उमरिया टाउन की हमारी केस स्टडी है। टाउन प्रोफाइल 2011 का हमारा पॉपुलेशन है ना 33,114। 2026 हमारी जो है ना पॉपुलेशन एक हमारा जो इंक्रीज मेथड है तो अप्रोक्सीमेट 42,000 जो है ना हो जाएगी। इसका वाटर सप्लाई 135 LPD जो बेस्ट है और सीवरेज जो है ना जनरेशन जो है ना 26 में हमारी 4.6 जो है ना MLD है। यहाँ सबसे बड़ा एक्चुअली चैलेंज है उमरिया का कि इसकी जो है ना जो जोग्राफिकल जो टोपोग्राफी है वो इस टाइप की है कि एक ही जो है ना किसी दिशा में या एक या दो दिशाओं में इसके जो है ना जो नालों का जो आउटफॉल है वो ना जा कर के और इसमें जो है ना टोटल ये जो एग्जिस्टिंग ड्रेन्स हैं ये 49 मतलब जो है ना मेजर नंबर्स हैं काफ़ी, और ये इसमें जो है ना 13 जो है ना मेजर नाले हैं और जो है ना इसमें ड्रेन्स जो है ना जो माइनर हैं वो 36 हैं। डायरेक्शन फ्लो 13 मेजर ड्रेन्स फ्लो टूवर्ड द वाटर बॉडी, ये जो है ना हमारी वहाँ उमरिया में काफ़ी जो है ना प्राचीन काल की वाटर बॉडी हैं तो उनमें जाके जो है ना मिलता है पानी, और 36 ड्रेन्स फ्लोइंग इन अ डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन। कैलकुलेशन ऑफ फ्लो इन दिस ड्रेन्स, ये टोटल जनरेटेड सीवर है तो 13 जो मेजर नाले हैं इसमें 45 से 50% हमारा जो है ना ये आता है सीवरेज वाटर, और 36 जो मेजर हैं उसमें 30% और रिमेनिंग 20% जो है ना ये दूसरा जो छोटे छोटे नाले हैं तो वो 20% जो है ना उस एरिया में जो है ना फैलता रहता है। सजेशन इसमें हमने जो हमारे कंसल्टेंट जो है की मदद से हमने और जो है ना वहाँ की स्टडी करके जो इसमें फाइनल किया है तो सजेस्टेड अप्रोच ऑफ दिस टाउन जो है ना ये डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड सिस्टम एडॉप्ट किया है। तो 2 STP हमने जो है ना 600 KLD के जो हमें जो है ना बड़े नालों में जो है ना इसका जो डिस्चार्ज आउटफॉल का मिलता है वहाँ प्रपोज किए हैं। STP टेक्नोलॉजी एडॉप्टेड जो है ना ये कंस्ट्रक्शन वेटलैंड और एक जो है ना STP 1 4 मेजर ड्रेन्स और 2 माइनर ड्रेन्स के लिए जो इंटरसेक्शन डाइवर्सन हो गया, और जो है ना 13 नाले जो है ना हमने ये जो इसमें बिलो देन जो है ना 20 जो MLD है तो उसके लिए फिर हमने जो है ना ग्रेवल्स फिल्टर का जो है ना एक यूनिट बना करके ग्रेवल्स फिल्टर की जो है ना एक संरचना बना करके और इसको हमने जो है ना ये 20 KLD 30 KLG में तो इससे जो है ना इसको पानी को ट्रीट किया है, मतलब करने का प्रोविज़न रखा है। इसमें सिलेक्शन जो है ना ये सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट टेक्नोलॉजी जो हमने ली है मोर देन 20 टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर अक्रॉस इंडिया रीच्ड आउट ऑफ 3 लेवल ऑफ कंसल्टेंट मीटिंग हेल्ड टू एक्सेस फैसिलिटी ऑफ जो है ना एडॉप्शन टूवर्ड द स्टेट रिक्वायरमेंट। हमने सभी कंसल्टेंटों को जो है ना बुला करके एक जो है ना उनसे मीटिंग करके ही जो है ना फाइनल किया है हमको कितने जो हमारे 20 जो है ना टेक्नोलॉजी जो प्रोवाइडर्स हैं तो उनसे जो है ना टेक्नोलॉजी टाई अप का जो है ना बीडर से एग्रीमेंट लेते हैं कि पहले उनसे जो है ना आप प्रोवाइडर से एग्रीमेंट हमें दें, उसके बाद ही हम आपको जो है ना बीड में इंटरटेन करेंगे। तो फैक्टर ऑफ कंसिडरिंग टेक्नोलॉजी सेलेक्शन, जो इस एरिया का भी इशू आता है, लैंड रिक्वायर्ड है, कहीं जो है ना मिलती भी है ना, फिर और हमारी म्यूनिसिपैलिटियों की जो है ना ये इतनी फाइनेंशियली जो है ना कैपेसिटी नहीं है कि वो उसको जो है ना लैंड वर्कर करके और जो उसका अमाउंट पे कर सकें। कैपेक्स और ओपेक्स का भी हमने जो है ना टेक्नोलॉजी में जो है ना बड़ा ध्यान रखा गया है, और ट्रीटमेंट इफिशियंसी में भी जो है हमने इसके जो है ना उसको ध्यान रखा गया है मापदंडों को। और खासकर हमारी जो सैंक्शन जो कॉस्ट है और उसको भी हमने जो है ना ध्यान में रखते हुए प्रयास किया है कि हमारे जो सैंक्शन कॉस्ट है इसमें हमारा प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट हो जाए, कि यूएलबी का शेयर तो हमें लगाना ही है, लेकिन उससे अधिक जो है ना यूएलबी का शेयर न लगे, क्योंकि हमारी यूएलबी हमारे मध्य प्रदेश की नहीं, मैं समझता हूँ कि सभी यूएलबी में जो है ना शेयर से अधिक राशि मिलाने के लिए थोड़ा सा कठिनाई का सामना जो है ना करना पड़ता है। तो शॉर्टलिस्ट जो है ना 6 लो कॉस्ट डिफरेंट सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर पोटेंशियल इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ह्यूज वाटरमैन डीपीआर। हाँ, एक हो गया, लास्ट हो गया। कंसल्टेंट इंस्टीट्यूट लायक जो है ना आईआईटी इंदौर, एनआईटी भोपाल, एनआईटी सूरत, नेशनल जो है ना एनवायरमेंट इंजीनियरिंग रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट जो है नेरी, टू एक्सप्लोर सुटेबल मेथड फॉर इंटरसेप्शन डाइवर्सन IND of drains, discuss with the technical expert from the various water resources जो है ना resources, irrigation related department to evaluate various success IND method, conducting field visit or ULB validation, first draft DPR for selection of appraisal and interception dive method, assessment of land suitability for STP. तो ये हमने जो है ये जो है ना ह्यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट के DPR उसके लिए जो है ना पूरा मध्य प्रदेश में तैयारी की है, और आगे भी हम जो है ना महुआ के GS मैडम के निर्देशन में, हमारे सीनियर ऑफिसर्स के गाइडेंस में हम इस पर काम करेंगे, और जो है ना हम निश्चित रूप से जो है ना एक इसका जो टाइम पीरियड है उस पीरियड में हम जो है ना सभी प्रोजेक्ट को पूर्ण करने का प्रयास करेंगे। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू जरूलिया जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच। 3 चीज़ें बहुत अच्छा इन्होंने करके बोला। हमने 26 कंसल्टेंट को इम्पैनल किया। दूसरा 3 लेयर पे उनके एग्जाम DPRs जो प्रोजेक्ट बनते हैं अप्रूव होते हैं, जिसमें पॉलिटिकल से लेके सारे लोग उसमें इंक्लूड हैं। और एक तीसरी चीज़ इन लोगों का एक स्पेशल है जो हम बताना चाहेंगे, जब सारे स्टेट्स CSAP में बिजी थे जल्दी जल्दी बनाने के लिए, ये मध्य प्रदेश का ये था कि नहीं हम प्रॉपर DPR बना करके और एक साथ लेके आएंगे जिससे कास्ट लैंड एवरीथिंग इज फ्रीज्ड। जब हम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में जाएंगे तो उसमें कोई हिच नहीं रहेगा। दैट देयर अप्रोच इज पेइंग। अभी इनके सारे प्रोजेक्ट लगभग अप्रूव हो गए हैं और आगे वो अब इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में है। देयर इज नो हिच, पॉलिटिकल से लेके सारे लोग अलाइंड हैं, और आई होप कि इनका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन सबसे फास्ट होगा जो मेरे को करके दिखाई दे रहा है। थैंक यू वेरी मच मध्य प्रदेश। नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट हनो टाका जी अरुणाचल जस्ट टू शेयर हिज व्यू। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Good morning, everyone. First of all, greetings from the Arunachal Pradesh, the land of rising sun. In fact, I have nothing much to share experience or to say. I'll save my time for the rest of the speakers, so I'll say only take 2 minutes of yours. We are implementing the youth water management in 27 urban towns in Arunachal Pradesh. As you know, Arunachal Pradesh is located in the easternmost corner of the country with a hilly and very difficult terrain covering a geographical area of about 84,000 square kilometers, which in fact is the size of 5 other smaller northeastern states, except excluding Assam and Tripura. So given these challenges, we have also a lot of challenges while preparing the DPR. And in Arunachal, since we do not have any required the bandwidth or manpower in this expertise domain area, we hired a consultant for the preparation of the DPRs. And we are implementing 14 FSTP and 13 STPs in Arunachal Pradesh. And we took over 8 months long to carry out the hydrological studies, topography, current use water discharge, collection, etc. And traveling from one point of Arunachal to the other point of Arunachal, it takes 2 to 3 days sometimes. And because of all these regions, we took a good 8 months. Some of the challenges, as I've told you, traveling was one of the challenges for the consultants to travel from one part of the Arunachal to the other part of Arunachal. And the second challenges was identifying the land, because in Arunachal, there is no such land called government land. All the lands are owned by the individuals and the private. And it is strictly forested, so it is not feasible for setting up STPs in some of the hilly terrain areas. So we have to find in such a location or place. And we had to convince the landowners, and all this process took a certain time. And we divided the teams into 4, northern, eastern, central, and that way. And that way, we could save a lot of time and energy and while preparing the DPR. Of course, CPHO was in constant touch. We sought the advice of the CPHO from time to time for every distinct. The population for each of these ULB ranges from something 4,000 to 25,000. So it's sparsely populated, and because of that, even the DPR cost was a bit high. Initially, the mission allocation was something around 79.8 crore, which we requested later to enhance it to 110 crore. But after the DPR preparation, currently the DPR cost has come up to 168 crore. So I take this opportunity to request the Maua JS ma'am to consider funding for the as a gap funding or viability gap funding for use water management in Arunachal Pradesh. I don't have much to say, and I did not even prepare the PPT. So these are the experience from Arunachal, and hopefully this DPR will be useful for some of the northeastern states or other hilly states of the country. And currently the DPR has been approved by the state level technical committee as well as the high powered committee, and we are in the process of preparing the RFE. And for that also we are engaging some consultant to ensure that the RFEs are made in such a way in EPC mode, and also allow participation of very good vendors so that the project implementation is successful in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Thank you so much.
Arunachal is in definitely northeast, and terrain is very hostile. In that case, all there are 27 DPRs for different city that they prepared, and it is approved by SLTC, and they are going for implementation. That too in such a condition where land was a constraint, no government land. So this will help all those states who are still struggling. They can learn and they can expedite. Thank you, Anutaka ji. So now I request Bina ji, please come and share experience of Odisha. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Maua and JS ma'am, for organizing this national workshop where we can cross-learn from other states. Sure. So this is the position of our approval status of the used water management. We have 115 number of ULBs. Out of that, 106 comes under non-Amrut cities because there are 9 Amrut cities. And the assessment we have made, the capacity of waste water management is 335 MLD, and length of IND has also been assessed. And the total number of cesspool tankers and dislodging machines, we have already empaneled the agencies. And at the OWSSP level, at the state level, we have made the empanelment of the agency. and given it to the ULBs. We have, the flexibility has been given to the states so that depending on their, size, requirement of size of dislodging machines and all, they can procure it. Sizes varying from 500 liter to 5,000 liters. So there are small townships and old towns where the lanes and bylanes are very narrow, so they require small dislodging machines. Accordingly, we have made that arrangement. And the total mission allocation is 990 crores, and the central share is 495 crores. And the SLTC meeting we conducted, and we submitted the proposal, and we are very much thankful to the MOHUA. The very next day, NARC meeting was held, and it has been approved. And we received the fund of 120 crores, and respective state share has also been released, but we are making planning already 45 towns. We have done the assessment where the land is available, where we can FSTP and STPs for treatment of black water. We have done substantial progress. For grey water, we are now focusing on that. So in the coming year, we are planning to spend that amount and achieve in those 45 cities where land is available for construction of STP as well as the outfall level treatment. So the DPR tendering work of FSTPs, already it is over and completed also. In 115 ULBs, we have done 120 FSTPs. And OWSSP is the nodal agencies. They have done all this execution, everything. And it is running, and not only the total capacity is 2.087 MLD. And that is mainly all the small and medium townships where there is no sewage line are there. We have made this. And we are not only giving service to the township only. Under rural-urban convergence, the neighboring panchayat area sludge we are also bringing to that particular STPs. We have executed agreement with blocks. So nearby adjoining ULBs, we have executed the agreement so that we are bringing sludge to those nearby STPs, and treatment is being done there. And second is that empanelment of agencies and rates have been completed for procurement of cesspool MTR, as I have already told. And third one is the community partners or women self-help group, transgender SHGs, we have engaged, and we have imparted training to them, and from time to time we are imparting training, and the capacity building we are doing. They are mainly managing the STPs, FSTPs. And not only that, we have done the wall painting in the FSTPs in vernacular language. So it is easy for them, step-by-step operation. In case they forget, they can see the whatever step-by-step operation is there on the wall, and they are doing it. They are, very well they are managing the FSTPs. And for grey water management, already we have identified 45 number of cities. Out of that, we are preparing now 9 number of cities where DPR we are under preparation. And the land is also available there. And next, we are planning where the cities land is not available, then we'll acquire the land from state budget, and in that approach we are progressing. These are 5 cities where the STPs are there, sewered cities. We have already done 12 number of STPs where 373 capacity, MLD capacity is there, and we have utilized so far 187 MLDs treatment. And number of, in the sewer cities also, there are some parts where sewer lines have not been laid. So those unsewered part of the sewered cities we are covering through FSTPs. So we have made FSTPs in sewered cities as well, so that there will be no, disposal of black water here and there. So in that approach we are progressing. And there are 2 other cities, Raurkela, Talcher, we have already done 1 wastewater treatment plant, and Raurkela we are making 2 numbers of wastewater treatment plants. These are the pictures of the STPs. So there are 2 kinds, as you know, there are 2 kinds of water. It is black water. Black water I have already explained. Now is the grey water that is coming from water from kitchen, bathrooms, and washing of clothes. That we are doing through those 4 kinds of intervention. One is household level intervention, where the soak pit can be done at the backside of the houses, and the grey water can be treated, grey water can go to the pit. And second is street level intervention, where the land is available, street level intervention is also can be done. And community level intervention, where we have already made this kind of community level intervention, where water can be led to the pits. And fourth one is outfall level intervention. Outfall level, we have made the maturation pond, where the waste part of the water can be settled and that water can be treated. These are the total number of 120 number of FSTPs of varying different capacities, starting from 10 KLD to 75 KLD. We have already made. So total is as I have told, 2.087 MLD capacity we have already made the FSTPs, and not only the urban area, rural area also we are providing the services. And the management, yeah, please. And another thing is that we have 491 number of cesspool MTR vehicles are there. Already we have procured 391 and 100 numbers are private owners. Initially when we started this assessment, then we completed the FSTPs. Private operators were operating in the cities and they were disposing indiscriminately here and there. So we seized the vehicle, imposed penalty. Not only that, so then we brought them into our loop. So we empaneled them, registered them, fixed the rate. Then they are really helpful to us. So these private owners, and gradually we are, some capacity building we are also doing to sewer entry professionals, providing loan assistance and support to them to procure these kind of machines. And because they are already in this kind of services, so they are really helping us. So gradually the number of private operators are increasing in the cities, and they are also helpful for us for bringing the slush from the rural part. Initially in the rural area, it was only up to 10 kilometers from the urban boundary. Gradually we expanded up to 40 kilometers now. These are the kind of intervention in non-sewered ULBs, household level, land level, and the constructed wetland in the community level. So we have already done in some 10, 11 number of pilot cities, and we are successful. So gradually we will expand it to the other cities as well, the outfall level. You see, this is a place where the land was used as a GVP, garbage vulnerable point. It was not of any use. So we made it and made the wetland in Dhenkalan is a place, we made it. And not only we treated the water, the beautification has also been done, planted some plants and all. This is the entire drain survey, survey has been done in a city, Jatni, very close to Bhubaneswar. This is how we are approaching. In particularly Jatni, we have done the detailed, DPR. So the total population is 75,000 and the total current water demand is 10,150 KLD, and the 65, as you know, 65% of current waste water is the waste water. So we have identified land level is 25 and the total grey water management is 302 KLD. So already land level intervention we have done, and that is 21 KLD. So total is we have so far done 302 plus 21 plus 192. So balance is 6081 KLD. Water needs to be treated. So for that we require land of 20 acres. So that land we have, that is available there in Jatni. So we are planning for outfall level. So we have identified 45 number of cities like this where land is available. We are planning to do it, and outfall level and STPs also, IND, all kinds of things we are planning to do. And in other balance, rest of the cities where the land is not available, we'll plan later on for acquisition of the land so we can execute this project. So, what are the challenges? The main challenge is enforcement, because we have identified, after the assessment of these cities, we have identified the polluters. So we have to educate them, sensitize them, then we have to impose penalty. Already we have started in the 11 pilot cities. We have engaged tulip interns. And also MIS experts, so they have all, base level information they have collated. Then we'll start imposing penalty and all. Then the selection of suitable, feasible land for construction, that I have already told. And the integration of drainage system in the ULBs in order to implement the grey water management. That is like IND kind of thing we are planning to do. So these are the things. We are really helpful to our Dr. B.K. Chaurasia sir and Mr. Rohit Kakkar. They are kind enough to provide us support in this grey water management. We are also planning to send our team to where they have done good work like Punjab and Haryana, to Crestlawn, and also preparation of the DPR. So far the black water is concerned, we have done substantial progress. Now we are focusing on the grey water in Odisha particularly, and this year we are very much hopeful that we will achieve all these things. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinayji. Thank you very much. In case of Odisha, you have seen that regarding this sludge treatment, they have done excellent work in all ULB basically. And regarding this grey water and maybe black water, they are planning intervention at, let us say, at local ward level and also at outfall level. So some of the experiences, once we get documented in ward level, that will be, I think, helpful for all other towns also where flow is 5 KLD, 10 KLD, and it is going untreated. Those type of intervention will be helpful. Some point of time we will share. So thank you very much, Odisha. Then I request Sanjay ji, UP, please come and share your points. Thank you.
Next. Namaskar. A brief overview of the Swachh Bharat Mission 2. It was launched during the 75th anniversary of independence, as we all know. And the target is, ambition, vision is garbage-free India by 2026. Core areas which are planning to, we are going to plan. See, this is the current status of our ULBs in Uttar Pradesh. We have 762 ULBs in total. 60 ULBs we are covering in Amrit towns. In these cities, up till now, we have constructed 126 STPs of capacity 4074 MLD, and 54 FSTPs have also been constructed so far in different programs. These STPs have been constructed in different programs, starting from the GAP 1, Ganga Action Plan first, till now we are constructing now STPs in Amrit towns. This is the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2 overview. We have outlay of 5041 crore, central assistance, as we all know. We are going to construct 670 STPs in population cities, population having less than 1 lakh. The treatment capacity will be around 1820 MLD. This is an assessment based on CSAPs we have already logged in. Currently, we have prepared 59 DPRs in the state. 4 DPRs have been approved. Work is going on in 3 days, 3 cities. Of course, it's very slow, but we are going to expedite it. These are the projects. Again, a brief overview. Populations, we have categorized now in the construction or the preparation of DPR in 2 phases. Population less than 25,000 and population more than 25,000 and population between 50 to 1 lakh. Out of this, in first phase, we are taking up DPRs in 67 number of ULBs, which are having population 2011, more than 50,000, less than 1 lakh. This is the current status of sewerage of in the state of Uttar Pradesh in 60 Amrit towns basically. Because till now we are doing works of sewerage in only Amrit towns. The total households is 81 lakhs, covering total number of households including slums in 81 lakhs. Household with sewer connection before Amrit 2, it was 22.90 lakhs. Before Amrit, it was 28% coverage for 60 Amrit towns. After Amrit, it will be around 35%. This is an overview of the cities when we'll be implementing this Amrit program. After Amrit implementation, there will be 314 ULBs which will be 100% covered by water supply tap connection. Why I am highlighting this? Because after Amrit, in these 314 cities, we'll be supplying 135 liter of LPCD water. So when we supply 135 liter water, then we assume 80% of that will be generated in sewer. So this will again be a challenge for us to provide sewer facilities in 314 towns. The breakup is like this. Out of these 314, 75 district headquarters will be covering 64 district headquarters. 6 Nagar Nigams will be 100% saturated. 54 ULBs of 8 aspirational districts will be saturated after CSC. This is a total scenario for water supply. We have 140 lakhs of households. Before Amrit, earlier it was Amrit towns, now it is the total scenario. Water supply coverage before Amrit, it is 37. New house connections proposed Amrit 2 is 43.04 lakhs. Total household covered with water supply after Amrit will be 95.91 lakhs. The water supply coverage after Amrit will be 68%. These are some photographs of projects we have already constructed, commissioned under Amrit and different programs. We are facing currently the challenges are after construction of the projects, after this execution and implementation, DLP, we hand over the projects to the concerned ULB. There is lack of technical manpower in the ULBs. Other problem we are facing in Amrit, as we'll face in this SBM2 also, the share of ULB. Third is awareness of ULB regarding pollution, as the private operators are now operating, collecting septic from septic tanks and other things. they are openly disposing of it into water body or some river or open land. Fourth challenge is availability of suitable land. In all our projects which we have prepared DPRs, the one main constant is availability of suitable land. In every DPR, we are pumping around 3 to 4 kilometers of sewer to a STP, which is around average 3 to 4 kilometers away from our mainland. These are the main concerns. Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच संजय जी. लास्ट स्लाइड में वेरी मतलब ऐसे क्लियरली दे मेंशन दैट व्हाट एवर दे आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग अंडर इवन अमृत दोज ULBs आर लार्ज. Technical manpower and operation is a problem, and in the last also he mentioned that land ka there is a issue. So again we are going 4 to 5 kilometers. I think state government need to deliberate on it and find out the ways so that whatever we construct that is doable. And for that the example of Punjab and Madhya Pradesh and even Odisha, they have mentioned that how they have impaneled for expeditious preparation of DPR, and intervention should also be there for land. And accordingly, this funding is not a big issue if properly managed and proper technology and other things are taken. But definitely providing some model DPR in 2-3 category, 20,000 population, 50,000 and 75, and telling all consultants to follow this way. 4 to 5 months mein all things can be done. Otherwise it will keep on lingering, and wherever help is required, CPHO is there. Now I request Satish Kumar, just we help Chhattisgarh and what they have been doing out of that one project. We help to develop as a, let us say, model so that others can get the guidance out of that. So he will be quickly presenting on that, how what all features are there. Though in other cases you have seen that. So Satish Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Very good morning, everyone. So though my presentation is on the model DPR, the presentation has 3 sections. One is the major observations which we are communicated to the states based on their DPR which has been submitted for our review. And the second one is what are the constituents of a typical DPR. And the third one is the Chhattisgarh DPR which sir was mentioning. So these are some of the major observations of the DPR which we have received during the past few months. So the first one is actually they have proposed this completely mechanized treatment processes. So we are not actually against any mechanized treatment process, but at the same time you would have seen it in Chaurasia sir's presentation. There was this Machivara example of 4 MLD STP in Punjab, right? So you have to judiciously plan as per your need, as per your end use, as well as per your the capacity of your ULB for operation of such STPs. So that is our first observation. Second one is regarding the details of the existing infrastructure that is missing, and its integration is also missing. It does not. It's not only the sewerage projects, but also for the water supply. So you have to give the details of your water supply project. What is the rate of water supply? Then you have to go for planning the sewerage projects, and then you have to integrate your existing infrastructure with the proposed ones. Then the third one is design periods. Though you can design it for 30 years, but the funding under SBM is limited only to 2026. So whatever the components or else whatever the capacity which you are proposing after 2026, that have to be borne by the state governments or else from some other source of fund. And then approach of SBM is not followed. For example, in class 2 towns, you are supposed to go for the C1 network, and in the suburban areas, you can go for drains for the conveyance. So that was missing. And then the next one is key plans and the necessary drawings and the designs are missing. And then higher inlet and outlet parameters has been mentioned. For example, in one case, I remember that they had considered an inlet BOD of 350, which is actually neither the actual nor the standard one. Standard one is 250, and the actual one will be around 100 to 120 MLD. Sorry, 100 to 120 milligram per liter. And the stringent norms like 10 milligram per BOD has been considered in most of the cases. When we see in that end use pattern, then they are actually going for using it for the irrigation or horticulture purpose. So as we all, most of you are technical persons, you might be knowing that 30 milligram per liter of BOD is actually advantageous for the irrigation as well as for the horticulture purpose. So rather than going for 30 milligram, they are going for 10 milligram unnecessarily. So that is the thing. And next one is the ancillary component cost is very high. You would have seen it in Chaurashya's presentation once again. In case of this Chunar FSTP, it is actually 2.75 crores. The proposed cost was around 2.75 crores, but the actual treatment cost is actually 30 lakhs. So you can compare it. So, your ancillary cost can be a part of your total treatment cost, but it should not be exceeding your treatment cost itself. So that does not make any sense, right? So with this, I'm coming to the end of my first section. So this is the second section, which is the contents of a typical DPR. So basically, in any DPR for anything, be it water supply or be it sewerage or be it solid waste, you'll be having 5-6 sections. First one will be the introduction, basic introduction about your cities, and the second thing will be your assessment and all those things and your estimations, what would be the population estimation, what would be a sewage generation estimate, and all those kinds of things will be coming in here. Then the third thing will be what is your need, how much capacity you need it, and what is a type of treatment and what is the end use and all those things. So those kinds of information, it will be coming in here. Then comes your gap analysis. Based on your gap analysis, you will be projecting your proposals, and you could propose your proposals for 100% of your gap, or else you can propose it for a part of the gap. So that way also you can do it. And after that, you have to go for the design and the alignments, and then you have to go for your bill of cost estimation, quantity estimation as well as your cost estimations, and then you have to give all your annexes regarding this one, right? So these are some of the steps, as I have explained this already, but I just want to highlight one thing. See, after collecting this data and after doing the gap analysis, it is mandatory for any sewer projects actually going for zoning. So the third point, that zoning and approach selection, it is actually mandatory. So zoning, you have to select it based on the topography of your particular region. And then approach selection will be based on various parameters. One will be based on your population, as Chaurashya sir was mentioning earlier in his slide. Class 5 and 6 towns, and class 3 towns, and class 4 towns, and class 2 towns. So different category of approach you have to go for. And in addition to that, you have to go for the approach based on your end use of your treated wastewater. So based on that also, you have to go for this approach selection. Okay, that's it. And then O&M revenue, yes, that is actually, and the fifth point that is actually important in here. So basically what we will be doing is we will be selecting the technology, then we will be going for land identification. It is not like that. First, you have to identify the land, and based on the land availability, you have to work out the economics, whether in case of UP also, sir was telling that they have to get this IND for some 4-5 kilometers away from the tapping point, right? So if land is available there, for example, I'm having 500 square meters of land, whether that land having a multi-story STP or going for a completely mechanized processes like SBR or MBBR, is it actually, what is the cost mechanics that is involved? So that you have to work it out, and based on the land availability and this cost economics, that is especially the O&M cost, you have to select the technology, and then you have to you have to go for the approach, and you have to propose your STP site locations. And O&M cost I have already covered, so I'm just going to the next slide. So this is actually the model DPR which Chaurashya sir was mentioning. This is Manindragarh town in Chhattisgarh. So basically they had submitted the DPR and made the DPR in 3 volumes. One is, the first volume is the general description and all those things, where they had given the cost abstract, the details of the cities and everything. And the second volume, they have included this design and cost estimation, and the third volume, they have included the drawings. So this is the general information about the city and whatever the salient features of the project. So basically, this city is having a population of around 33,000 as per 2011 census, and it has been projected to 42,000 for the year 2026. The city basically has an area of 8.62 square kilometer and 22 watts. The sewage generation, though it is coming around some 4.5 MLD, they have taken 70% because they are not proposing any sewer network. They are going for the drain for the collection and conveyance of the sewage. So they have taken 70%, which is coming to which came to 2.9 MLD. Then based on the alignment or also the topography, they have divided the city into two sewerage zones. For each zone, they have proposed one STP. One is 0.5 MLD and the other one is 2.5 MLD. And in both the cases, they have gone for the base stabilization pond. And total IND length which they have proposed is actually 4.7 kilometers. So this is the key plan of the project. So if you can see that on your right hand side there is this pink line that will be going. So that is the IND 4.7 kilometer which runs through the gravity. And you can see there is something mentioned in red and all those things. So those are the nalas. Basically they have 10 nalas. Out of that, this particular sewer zones, sewer zone 1, let me call it, name it as sewer zone 1. So here actually it has 9 nalas basically, and they are tapping all the 9 nalas. That is because actually the major flow is coming from the nala 1, which is actually around 0.7 MLD. Then the second highest flow is coming in the nala 6 or 7, which is 0.4. 7 is also 0.4, and then 9th nala is also having a flow of 0.4. So eventually they have to tap the first nala. So eventually they have to get all these things into the STP location. That is the thing actually they have tapped all the other nalas. So here for all the other nalas they have constructed only the weirs, which is actually having a cost of for all these things it was around 15 lakhs or so. That's it, and there is no major cost that is involved. And they have proposed one STP and there that is 2.5 MLD, and then there is a 10th nala is there which is in sewerage zone 2, so which is actually 0.5 MLD. So this is actually the schematic sketch of the same thing. So they have constructed this is for sewerage zone 2. The length of the weir is 8 MLD, but considering the flow, the size of the nala is actually huge, and everything has been mentioned. So here the same thing, schematic sketch, 4.7 kilometer, and pumping main also they are proposing for some 120 kilometer combined. In one case it is 50 meter, and the second one is it is 70 meter. So this is the cost estimate. You can see almost all the costs are actually coming as per our endorsement. So you can see that in case of, but here actually there are few points you have to observe. They have gone for this DI K9 pipe without any major undulations. So here they can, in fact, they would have gone for this K7 instead. And then in addition to that, we have some issues with the sewer zone 1 where they have proposed for that 4.7 kilometer. They have proposed this manholes at a rate of some 30 meter spacing, but you know that for main trunk sewers and all those things, it can be extended up to 60 meters or so. So that is there. Otherwise, this entire thing seems to be a workable project, and you can see that for 3 MLD, the total cost has been worked out by the state government at a cost of 9.65 crores. So whatever we are advocating, whatever we are saying it for the past 2 years, it is actually a workable model. So we are not, coming saying anything out of whatever it is practical and all those things. And with this, this is my end of the presentation, but let me say 2 points which we have learned during the past 10 years of SBM experience as well as the GenRM experience also. See, we do accept that the fact that there is no single standard approach or wholesome approach for the management of sewage in any universally accepted approach for the sewage management. That too, we do acknowledge that one. At the same time, we do acknowledge the one thing that is actually FSTP is not the wholesome as well as it is not the complete and permanent solution for the management of your used water, because it is actually managing only 1 to 2% of your sludge, and it is purely demand based, and none of your septic tanks are being designed as per your IS standards, right? So please keep this in mind, and thank you very much for your patient listening. Hope this would have given you some information. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you, Satish. Thank you very much. This was one example while discussing with them you have brought for you people. So you will find that although city to city characteristic and topography, other things keep on varying, and one solution may not be fitting all. But if we apply technical things and discuss and analyze solution, economical solution for all type of towns we can get. So with this we have almost everyone has shared their view. We will take only 3-4 questions, and after that maybe first we will take 3-4 questions, then I will let you know. Huh? So it will be because of paucity of time. Later on also if some more questions are there we can take up. So raise your hand and we will take 3 questions.
Thank you so much. I think it was a great learning to see the kind of planning that's going in. Just a quick question perhaps to all of you, because you did mention, sir, that Arunachal Pradesh has this hilly region and there's a lot of issues. I wanted to check that, is there a risk analysis in terms of the climate change component that is also being taken care while the DPR preparation is on? Primarily this is focusing because a lot of flood, lot of landslide issues are upcoming these days. So what is that in terms of the analysis that we are also putting in place? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think these issues are being addressed in our DPR, and there are no such threats from all those upstream rivers, and we are flooding these things in the lower upstreams only. And there are no such vulnerabilities as far as I know.
Kaushiki, I would like to mention these are towns 4,000, 3,000 population and less than 20,000. So in this case, that natural environment is maintaining whatever was there. Because of implementation, these things are not going to interfere anyway, but it is helping climate only. But the level of analysis that you expect, I think in smaller projects that we don't advocate also. Let them manage first basic level of sanitation and used water management. Then these things will start with bigger city, and we will definitely take up in all cases subsequently. Thank you. Yes,
sir. I am Raghu Prasad, sir, the Additional Commissioner from Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. With respect to the presentation of Punjab, what is the impact of dry weather flow and wet weather flow on the design of sewage treatment plant? How do you tackle the situation of stormwater in the design aspects of sewage treatment plant?
For this purpose, SBM2, we are only considering the dry weather flow. For the purpose of calculation of the overflow into the ponds again, we have taken a data for the storm of that particular ULB. But as such, we don't have stormwater existing in most of the ULBs in Punjab.
My question is for Punjab. I am Anuj. I am SMD SBM for Uttar Pradesh. First of all, compliment for the great work that is being done in Punjab. Can you just throw some light on like smaller towns, 25,000 and less than them? So what kind of technology you are actually using for, because you quoted an example of Bilga, I guess, where you said you are making the trunk sewers and then tapping all the drains to the STP. So what kind of STP you are actually setting up for the smaller towns? And if they are mostly nature-based, then the status of compliance that we have been hearing since morning regarding the NGT standards. Thank you.
Actually, I started with the presentation in which I pointed out that we are not freezing the technology. As Satish also pointed out during it, firstly, we should not freeze the technology because we don't know where the land will be available. So first, for the planning purpose, we want to identify a good chunk of land. Let's say it is 1 acre, for example. Once the dimensions are available, we let the contractor or the designer do all the talking on this part. So we will float the tender keeping into view the technology which can fit into that piece of land. And once the evaluation comes for the design and the checking part during technical bid, then we go into this. In case of Bilga, we have got the tender on MBBR. We already had 1.25 acre, 2 MLD STPs to be constructed, 6 KLD is the FSTP capacity in that, and plus there is a pumping station. and this ULB has a population of around 15,000.
Okay, thank you. I have one suggestion to make, ma'am, because there is no overemphasizing the fact that we all need to learn from each other, and like listening to the experiences of Arunachal Pradesh also, maybe we can have something of a Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat kind of platform, where maybe we can see each other's work regularly, visit those places and learn from each other. Like Madhya Pradesh also, they have planned for so many cities already. And like we are right now experimenting with so many things, so many decision making have been done. But we are going to implement them for smaller cities, then medium cities, then larger cities. We have graded like that, less than 25,000, 25 to 50,000, then above 50,000. And what actually works in these cities, because if one of us has already discovered the wheel, then I don't think all of us again trying to reinvent that wheel. So that is the point. Maybe like the great work that has been done in Odisha, we are modeling our FSTP O&M tender on that basis, and NUDM is helping us for that right now. Very soon we will be floating that RFP. So maybe I will visit Odisha sometime very soon, maybe in December or something like that. So we all need to learn from each other, and maybe a platform for sharing experiences, maybe even through WhatsApp or something like that. That will help, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because we are running late, all these panelists are available here, so during lunchtime we can go ahead. Now I request just quickly one photograph, and then we will continue with next session, because just to utilize, otherwise if you disturb, then the entire attention I am finding, all people are very attentive, we will take help of that. So immediately just please come forward.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. V.K. Chaurasia to also hand over the mementos to our panelists. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, sir. We will not be pausing for tea, but I'm sure our participants are aware that there is a running tea being served at the rear of the hall. We request participants. Oh, no, we're not breaking for tea. We're not breaking.
We are continuing.
Yes, yes, sir. We request all in deference to speakers, we request all participants to kindly not step out of the hall for tea and to kindly face their tea breaks. We now move on to the next session. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No tea break. We are now moving on to session 5, experience sharing by states on procurement of implementation agency and progress monitoring. We request Sri Rohit Kakkar, Deputy Advisor, CPHU.
Before that, JS will like to share our experience. We are welcome. Thank you.
So while the panelists of session 5 proceed to the stage, I'll just take a couple of minutes to address a few points that came up during session 4. Chaurasia ji, of course, did not allow me the time to comment. This is not an experience sharing, but I would like to just comment on certain observations that came up. First of all, we need to understand that any mission of this nature, whether it is Amrit or it is Swachh Bharat, requires two kinds of aspects. One is a technological perspective, and the second, which is a managerial perspective, when we are talking of implementation. If you see the experiences of almost 5 or 6 states that were there on the panel right now, a very important point that is coming is about clarity of approach. The question which SMD UP asked right now to the executive engineer Punjab, what is the kind of technology you are choosing for your small towns? I do not think you can come to the correct answer without seeing your local conditions. The sewer network in Punjab is close to 79%. Whereas, if you listen to Madhya Pradesh, it was a different approach. The reason being the sewer connectivity in Madhya Pradesh is 48%. So if you see this base requirement itself, you will understand what these two gentlemen were speaking about. And hence, Anuj, we cannot come to a conclusion picking and choosing things without understanding the context in which we are operating. That's very, very important. I'm a non-technical person and I'm speaking just out of common sense. The second thing, which Mission Director Arunachal Pradesh mentioned, I think is absolutely fantastic. Look at it, absolutely remote corner. A team painstakingly moves town to town for 8 months, and painstakingly, given non-availability of land, everything coming under forest area, connects with community willingly without any land acquisition, brings and creates a pool of land assets to structure their projects. I think this is absolutely incredible. And here we are in various other states where we have not even started our discussions on land. Whereas at the same time, there are some states where review with district magistrates starts vis-a-vis discussions on land pooling for crucial social infrastructure projects. Hence, we have the administrative structure of SHPC chaired by the Chief Secretary of the state. And this is exactly what I expect secretaries and mission directors to do in SHPCs and use this platform. The Revenue Secretary using the machinery of district administration and collectors for land identification. Another cue from Executive Engineer Punjab. What did he mention? They've studied their land very, very well. They know their network, they know the topography, they know the drainage, they have the in-house technical pool. And what they say, first we identified the land. Land bases the flow. Land bases whatever technology that they are going to use in their STPs. Irrespective of that, agnostic of that, the land was first finalized and pooled. And I think in possibly 11 or 12 odd cases where you've not been able to do, that's again because of the land. So land being extremely important, not just as a parcel of land, but as a completely outcome of your natural, geographical, local conditions. Hence, it is so important that the technical wing and administrative wing cannot operate in silos when it comes to an important topic like this. This is the first thing I wanted to emphasize, that we need to have the administrative and technical arm aligned to understand, go to the field, plan what we need for the state, and I will strongly encourage when I come to my point number 2, your master plan for used water management. What you are doing today should be something which just now the state of Odisha mentioned, Phase 1, we did FSTPs, we had our learnings, we burnt our fingers, we got some good results, we had whatever little retrofitting we had to do. Now in phase 2, we are doing this step by step. So that is how a learning of a state comes. However, unless that's put as part of your master planning, tomorrow this pool of officers gets shifted and somebody else comes in your place and starts everything from scratch. Hence, it is very important that your technical wing must sit down and make the master planning for used water management. Going back to what Punjab said, we are doing the trunk lines there, which means they're creating a platform for the future, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, irrespective of the change of officers, they'll build on that platform. So be it the decentralized approach of Odisha or be it the networked approach of Punjab, the learnings are the same. Very good understanding of the ground, long-term planning, master plan to be there, and technical people who know the ground conditions well to be involved from day one. This apart, we come to the second thing, and this is where managers will have to come in. Look at what Punjab has done, or Maharashtra has done, or what Odisha has done, or what UP is even trying to do, what Arunachal Northeast wanted to do. Clear approach in terms of learning from other success stories. Standardization, DPR, specification, freezing of certain things, not leaving too many things open to hundreds and hundreds of urban local bodies that struggle with capacity, many of which would not be even having regular executive officers. Forget about technical wing. In such cases, expecting them to do all these things where we have been struggling for the past 3 years to create the plan, the more you standardize and handhold and support from the state level, the faster will be your execution. Be it our learnings from Swachhandra Corporation or from Gujarat or from Maharashtra or the case of wastewater management from Punjab and Haryana and Odisha, the state team has played a very, very strong role. So you may spend next maybe 8 weeks, 10 weeks, but it is worth that investment. So standard, and today the best part is we have a lot of documents amongst ourselves already. I welcome the suggestion of Mission Director Uttar Pradesh in having a platform that shares the knowledge which is available. Before we create such a platform, already on Swachhatam portal, all these documents are there. However, to have a more interactive sharing, you can possibly create some kind of a modular method by which every month we can share it in a slightly better way. In the meanwhile, we will also talk to the digital team to see how we can have it, have an interface for regular sharing. WhatsApp group, Anuj, is already there with all the state used water management teams and CPHO. If you want some more people to be added on that, most welcome. But every time there is a workshop, why do you think that on India Group I keep emphasizing send relevant people to such workshops? Because you are the people who will go back to your state and influence the decision making. So are you those people who can go back and influence decision making? If yes, the state has made a right choice in representing. I might sound a little tough at this point, but yes, the work in hand is tough. Hence, it is very important that we go back to the state and share these best practices in terms of standardization, in terms of defining what we require to do, in terms of whatever level of templatization that we can do to expedite the administrative process. As the mission director, it pains me to see that even after 10 years of Swachh Bharat, there are solid waste management plants in the country that haven't seen the light of the day. That is not acceptable to us. Hence, today as we stand here, after 3 years of SBM2, and with less than 24 months right in front of us for this mission phase to get over, we would certainly want that by the end of this financial year, each and every single project of SBM2 must start on ground. A very important point which Punjab mentioned was continuous engagement with the private sector. Private sector interface, even Odisha made that point, that we started empaneling the private sector and they have improved our efficiency. The private sector is as important as your role or as my role, because ultimately they will be the ones who will actually implement it for you. So from the beginning, if you start your discussions with your private sector in a regular manner, that is going to help you. So please create forums in which either your superintending engineers, sometimes maybe one round of confidence building under chairmanship of the state mission directors, your executive engineers in your divisions, please create a pool of private sectors. You heard from Punjab, we made many of them jump and come over into this sector. They were hesitant to be players in this sector. There are many players in water sector, in water resources sector, in sewer sector, who are like fence sitters. You need to create that confidence that there is appetite and playing space in these small local bodies. So by creating that, you have so many contractors today who are working in rural India for Jal Jeevan Mission. You have so many water contractors today who are working in urban India for Amrit Mission. You have so many contractors today who are otherwise working in watershed management and water resources. Who knows, maybe 25% of them or 15% of them will be willing to jump the fray and get into our sector. Because unless you strengthen your bandwidth of contractors, you will have very limited players who will not be able to deliver you that kind of a work within that time. And my last and most important point, data. The proof of the pudding is in eating. Unless you share your data, you report your data, you monitor your projects, we will just miss the line and we will go nowhere. We do not want to create a legacy of dysfunctional projects on ground. Swachh Bharat Mission legacy should not be in urban areas that of dysfunctional projects, and I will highlight it any number of times. And for that, it is very important that we need point by point monitoring and timely reporting. For that, there is already a live module on Swachhatam portal. And again, it pains to share that most of the states have not reported their data on GMIS. Project Management Information System, starting from land allocation, tendering, execution, payment of your bills is all available on Swachhatam portal. I openly welcome any suggestion that you have to give for improving this module. We are also learning as you are learning. You know that Swachh Bharat Mission started off only as a behavior change campaign, and today we are talking about waste to gas, legacy dump site remediation, waste to electricity, used water management in small cities, construction and demolition, waste processing, so on and so forth. We need to learn together. The portal is open. Please use it immediately and give us feedback of whatever improvements, because we want it to be a tool for the SMDs, for the commissioners, for the engineers as a monitoring platform. If it is not of use to you, then how do I get benefited by creating a platform like that? And this is exactly what will be used by third party for ODF certification, for survection, and for JMP monitoring. To monitor whether or to see whether our country is reaching the SDGs, the teams that will be visiting and looking at India's data will look at these kind of data points. We have already shared the important data points that need to be mapped on Swachhatam portal. By mid of December, the next JMP India report will be reaching us, and we will get about 2 months' time to respond to that JMP data. It is very, very ironical that today, if any of you has seen the JMP data, Kaushiki must have shared it with you yesterday, safely managed sanitation in rural India is reported to be higher than in urban India. All the infrastructure that is being shown as safely managed infrastructure where desludging is happening is actually there in urban India. But what your rural counterparts have been able to do is to map it very well and report it very well. You have painstakingly built all that infrastructure. You are inheritors of programs like the massive JNURM. You are the ones where PHE sector has first done its bit of work. And there is no reason why this data of urban India will not be reported. I request all the state leads who are here to please go back, open the portal, see the input points that are there vis-a-vis used water management. See the dashboards, see the reports, give us feedback of what needs to be further done to enable and strengthen your hands. And in the next 30 odd days, let's feed the base data. This is also going to help you because maybe in just about 3 weeks' time, the teams for ODF and GFC certification will embark on field survey. And they will be followed within 1 more week by the SS team. So be it SS, be it ODF, be it GFC, they will finally see the reports. I keep telling everybody, do not be overly caught up with your survection rankings or your certifications. You keep your focus absolutely on track on your inputs. Outputs will automatically come. There are many states who have adopted short-term approaches just to get a rank on SS. That doesn't help us at all because there will be slippage, there will be dysfunctionality. Yesterday, you all heard about toilets. You all heard about used Safai Mitra Suraksha. Today, you have heard about used water management. Have you understood, all of you, what's the how these blocks come together? Toilets, flush it. Today, whatever you have spoken, and then yesterday's Safai Mitra Suraksha. It's all one value chain, right? So India has already cracked the access to toilet story. Now, this is time for us to crack what happens after flushing the toilet. So this phase of India's story is what lies behind or beyond the great Indian toilet flush. And the challenge is with small cities. For big cities, it is sewer network. Now, non-sewered sanitation, in which manner we will take, unless for 24 months, all states, these used water management teams, these experienced engineers and the bright officers, unless you work closely together, we will possibly go wrong. And let me tell you, as Chaurasia ji was mentioning, there's actually no dearth of funds in the market or in the system. It is about planning in a holistic manner. In the ministry, we are seeing there is a corpus of urban infrastructure development funds. There are no takers. There are absolutely no takers, and 10,000 CR is just lying there. We are calling here and there, please send some projects and take these funds. So if you are able to plan in a converged manner, you may not do 100% of your cities. Take it for 10% of your cities, 5% of your cities. That fund, I think, is for class 2 and class 3 cities, if I'm not mistaken. That's now become 20,000 CR. For class 2 and class 3 cities, you can take the urban infrastructure funds in convergence with Swachh Bharat Mission. And for Swachh Bharat Mission, we have even relaxed guidelines that for all ongoing projects also, you can take those funds. So please be alert about these developments that are happening around you. And we are there to support with all the work that you have taken up. My team has been under clear instructions from my side that we will watch the work of the lens. First, default should be of positivity and acceptance. The positive lens with which we will look at the states is the culture that is there in Swachh Bharat Mission. In case you feel, and this is open announcement to all of you, in case you feel that there is any project of yours that is being refused by my team repeatedly or for reasons that you think is not warranted, reach out to me directly. I am available on WhatsApp, on call to all the mission directors. There are about 10 odd mission directors in the country who reach out to me regularly, and they have ensured that within first 2 years of the mission, everything has been cleared. Those that do not contact possibly will have some more time to get things cleared. I urge the mission directors, please understand what's required, talk to us, we'll try to expedite all your approvals, your fund flow, etc. And before I close, the point that I'll touch after data is of finance. Chaurasia ji mentioned about SNA and SNA Sparsh. Now this is extremely important. Vinay, additional mission director from Odisha, keeps messaging me, Madam, we are dried out, we are choked, we are now a desert, we don't have money. You have to understand the shift in finances in Government of India. Government of India finances has now shifted from installment-based release of payments to just-in-time payments. Earlier, we had 4 installments to give you. You do 75% of that, you give us the UC, we release the next installment, irrespective of your actual consumption or utilization on ground. Then came SNA. SNA started tracking what is your actual utilization on ground and your reduction in the SNA balance. Unless your SNA balance was going down, we were not able to release payments to you. Then we have shifted to SNA Sparsh. With SNA Sparsh, as your commissioners will raise the bills of the private operators to make payment, you will raise that to us. We will send you the mother sanction. Your state matching share comes out and the money flows. Because hundreds and thousands of crores were lying in various commercial banks with interest getting accrued and projects actually not happening. So this is a massive shift in financial management that has come. And I will request all mission directors to please keep now an accounting cell in your offices, because one person will not be able to do it. You will possibly need a finance officer of the state who is on deputation, who takes charge of this, and 2-3 people with 3-3-4-4 blocks of cities divided amongst them. Only when you raise Vinay your mother sanctions will we be able to release the payment. So you might be looking dry there in your account, but that's how it's supposed to be. So I have just received mother sanctions from Odisha, Rajasthan, and maybe 2-3 other states. Rest are yet to do the transitions. Now this is a very important game changer, because unless your bills go fast, your private contractors will not be able to work. That means you have to set your milestones, and as against your milestones, as your mission director, as commissioner, as executive engineers, you have to see that immediately my bill is being raised. For that, you need IT. And for that, your project management information system on Swachhatam portal is ready. We are just about to open the login for the private vendors also. So जिन का टेंडर हो गया है, वर्क ऑर्डर जहाँ पे आपने असाइन कर दिया है, वहाँ पे हम लोग एक वेंडर लॉगिन भी क्रिएट कर देंगे. तो वेंडर अपना माइलस्टोन कंप्लीट करके वहाँ पे रेज करेंगे. आपको भी पता चल जाएगा कितने दिन का डिले हो रहा है इन द रिलीज ऑफ पेमेंट. This is one more step towards transparency, but this also gives you an opportunity to control and track and expedite your projects and payment. So from the overarching administrative and planning of the mission, these are few points that all of you need to take care of. We have tried to do this kind of workshop annually now for 3 years, because our intent was you reached the planning stage. Now I think we are around 85% of planning done. So Chaurasia ji, from here on I will request for the next 24 months, we have to do state-wise and region-wise these kind of meetings. more statewide, BMGF, WashEye, USAID, and ASCII, the FSSM Alliance. We have Swachhata Knowledge Partners also. We would request you to take 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6 states as per your interest and your area, and exactly aligned to what we have been discussing, help and support the states expedite implementation. And most important, as SMD UP said, is knowledge sharing. So if you all can facilitate that and help them implement, it will bridge the gap of knowledge which is there amongst various states. So with this, I thank Chaurasia ji for allowing me some time to address the audience, because yesterday that was ceremonial, and for 2 days he expected the National Mission Director to just be listening and not tell you anything. That's not done. So I thought I should share my mind with all of you regarding the mission implementation. I wish you all the very best, and I will be also remaining present till the last session to listen to the other speakers. Arunachal Pradesh, your request for higher approval, please consider it done. The moment we receive your request, we place it in the next NAC and it will be done. And I also request other states, wherever you feel that there is a slight jump in your requirements after tendering, if we see that there is a case, like in the case of Arunachal, we are open towards it, because the mission does have certain savings, as some states who have already done their sewer network and STPs do not require as much funds. However, we need to see a strong case on which we can build your proposal for additional and enhanced mission allocation. So all the best to all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very clear and comprehensive roadmap, not only to get the SBN accomplished, but also the entire sanitation infrastructure positioning in our urban cities. In the first session of cross-learning, we had experience sharing about the DPR preparation and planning, where we can have engineering doubts, engineering, you could say, dissimilarities. But now it comes to the stage when the mission is already on, as already intimated, 85% of our funds have been released to the states. However, the progress which is being reported on our portal is very limited. I could have taken a slide from the portal and could have shown the percentages given by the state. But then if the data is not being fed by the state, as the Joint Secretary has just intimated, then this data also becomes fruitless. But now, notwithstanding that, we are finding that the progress of implementation on ground is quite slow. And to cross-learn our experiences on this aspect of implementation of projects and getting the implementation agency on ground, what are the issues and what could be learnings from each other. I have a team of experts from various states as under. May I request Mr. Jarolia, Superintending Engineer from Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Jarolia? Mr. Jarolia, are you here? Okay, next we were to have Shri Pranav Dholia, Technical Manager from GUDM. Okay. Shri Karthikeyan, Chief Engineer, Karnataka. Ms. Jigisha Jaiswal, Senior Research Lead from Jigisha. And Shri Pavan Kulkarni. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the stage. We are very eager to hear about your experience in getting this implementation agency on board, as well as the framework which you are creating for monitoring of the progress of the journey ahead. Because our targets, if you see the time-wise, we are already in the end of the third year of the mission, just 2 years are left. But at the same time, sanitation journey is not a, it's not going to end at the end of this missions, but will be continuous. So what are the agencies which you have engaged for implementation? What are their qualifications, their level of expertise, and same goes for monitoring. So I would now call upon Shri Jarolia, Superintending Engineer, Madhya Pradesh, to give his experience, and also request the speakers to limit their presentation to say around 8 minutes, because we are already running a bit behind schedule. So, Mr. Jarolia.
नमस्कार। इससे आगे यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट इन मध्य प्रदेश के तहत हमने प्रोक्यूरमेंट ऑफ एजेंसी चयनित करने के लिए मैं आपके सामने बताना चाहूँगा कि 353 यूएलबी में हमारे डीपीआर 208 में जो है ना अप्रूव्ड हम करा चुके हैं, जो कि लगभग 1200 करोड़ की हैं। टोटल टेंडर जो है ना हम 178 कर चुके हैं और 17 हमारे जो है ना वर्क अवार्ड हो चुके हैं। चैलेंज ऑफ फेस्ट जो है ना फाइनलाइजेशन आरएफपी, हमारा जो टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट है उसमें निश्चित रूप से जो है ना हमें काफ़ी चैलेंज आए। बीडर्स के लिए सिमिलर एक्सपीरियंस, स्पेशली गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर, बिग प्लेयर आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन जो है ना प्रोजेक्ट, क्योंकि हमारे छोटे छोटे जो है ना प्रोजेक्ट हैं यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट के। कैपेसिटी ऑफ एसटीपी एंड हाई O&M कॉस्ट इन चैलेंजिंग इन एग्जीक्यूट। सो हमने हमारी डीपीआर में जहां O&M जो यूएलबी आगे जो है ना उसको वहन नहीं कर सकती है, तो हमने जो है ना इसकी एनर्जी के लिए, अल्टरनेटिव एनर्जी के लिए सोलर पैनल का जो है ना हमने अपनी डीपीआर में प्रावधान जो है ना किए हुए हैं। आरएफपी डॉक्यूमेंट जो है ना रेडी करने में ये प्री क्वालिफिकेशन क्राइटेरिया में हमें जो है ना प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी। वेंडर हमने जो है ना फर्स्ट कॉल, सेकंड कॉल, थर्ड कॉल, फोर्थ कॉल और जो करते के बाद हमें वेंडर नहीं मिल रहे थे। तो हमारे कमिश्नर यूएडीडी के निर्देशन में जो है ना हमारे जो एमडी सर हैं उन्होंने वेंडर कंसंट्रेशन जो है ना मीट आयोजित की, और जो हमारे जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं उनको बुला करके उनकी समस्याएं जानी, और फिर उसका जो है ना सॉल्यूशन हमने निकाला उन्हीं के सामने। मेन जो है ना प्री क्वालिफिकेशन में जो समस्या आई थी कि बोले साहब हमने 2 साल तो हमारे कोविड का पीरियड चला गया तो हम काम ही नहीं कर पाए, तो हमें एक्सपीरियंस जो है ना कहाँ से जो है ना हम दे सकते हैं। सो हमने 5 ईयर जो है ना एक्सपीरियंस की जगह उसको एक्सटेंड करके 8 ईयर जो है ना कंसीडर किया है। तो 8 ईयर कंसीडर में जो है ना हमारे पास वेंडरों की संख्या इसमें जो है ना पार्टिसिपेशन में बढ़ी हुई है। और इसमें आरएफपी में जो है ना ऑलरेडी जो है ना हमने टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर को जो है ना इसमें टाई अप एग्रीमेंट के रूप में जो है ना इसको रखा है। तो इसलिए जो हमारे जो छोटे ठेकेदार हैं तो हमने उनको भी जो है ना इसमें प्रमोट किया है और उनको जो है ना हमने सपोर्ट करने का, और हमारे प्रोजेक्ट में अधिक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर आए प्रयास किया है। और दूसरा हमने जो है ना इसकी स्पेशल एलिजिबिलिटी के अंदर ये सिमिलर नेचर ऑफ वर्क में जो है ना इसको किया है। टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर technology provider should have provided technology of जो है ना core equipment for sewage treatment plant तो 5 की जगह हमने इसको 8 ईयर का प्रोविजन किया इन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर और पब्लिक सेक्टर। ये ऑपरेशन एंड मेंटेन सक्सेसफुली रनिंग मिनिमम 2 ईयर जो है ना, रनिंग कैपेसिटी ऑफ 30% ऑफ मोर, मतलब इसको जो है ना 30% हमारी उसमें मिनिमम उसका O&M का जो है ना उसके ऊपर उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को बीडर जो है उसको एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए। और हमारे जो इसके STP जो है ना, ये सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट प्रपोज इन दिस टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट सेम टेक्नोलॉजी एंड अचीवमेंट आउटलेट पैरामीटर लेटेस्ट ट्रीटेड वेस्ट वाटर, ये हमारे NGT के जो है ना नॉर्म्स हैं उसके मान से जो है ना उसको जो ट्रीटेड वाटर के मापदंड हैं वो जो है ना उससे मीट आउट होना चाहिए। अब हमने RFP में जॉइंट वेंचर के लिए जो है ना 2 मेंबर्स को जो है ना इसमें अलाउ किया है और इसमें लीड पार्टनर हैव द शेयर लीड पार्टनर जो है ना मस्ट हैव द शेयर 51% और सेकंड पार्टनर मिनिमम 26%। बोथ पार्टनर मस्ट सेटिस्फाई द फुल 100% जो है ना क्वालिफिकेशन क्राइटेरिया फॉर दिस पर्सन क्वालिफिकेशन। इंडिविजुअल पार्टनर शैल बी एडेड एनुअल जो है ना टर्नओवर, नेट वर्थ एंड जो है ना बीड कैपेसिटी। इसमें मेजर जो चैलेंज आता है तो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ये जो है ना डिजाइन, बिल्ट, ऑपरेटर एंड जो है ना ट्रांसफर दैट इज जो है ना DBOT मॉडल बेस्ड विद इन 5 ईयर O&M पीरियड नॉट इंक्लूडिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन पीरियड ऑफ विद द DLP। अब हमने जो है ना इसमें सामान्यतः DLP हमारे जो है ना मध्य प्रदेश में सड़क की भी जो है ना DLP जब 2 साल है तो हमने इसमें भी DLP जो है ना 5 ईयर रखी है। वो इसलिए रखी है कि कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का जो है ना बनाए हुआ STP या अदर जो है ना सॉलिड जो है ना संरचना है वो यदि 5 ईयर O&M में जो है ना हम DLP 2 साल रखेंगे तो निःशुल्क 2 साल बाद उसमें ना कोई कमी बता करके VLB की तरफ जो है ना कहेगा कि अब इसको पहले ठीक कराइए, देन उसके बाद मैं जो है ना O&M कंटिन्यू रखूंगा। तो हमने जो है ना हमारे सीनियर ऑफिसर्स यानी कमिश्नर सर को कन्विंस कराया कि साहब उसकी बनी हुई जो है ना यूनिट 2 साल में कैसे खराब हो सकती है। 5 साल तक ही आप जो है ना जब तक ये O&M उसका स्कोप में है तब तक इसको लाइबिलिटी, पूरी लाइबिलिटी जो है ना दीजिए कि 5 साल तक डिफेक्ट लाइबिलिटी भी जो है ना आपकी ही रहेगी। सो इसको हमने जो है ना DLP को 5 ईयर रखा है। इसमें ऑपरेशन मेंटेनेंस की कॉस्ट कम के लिए मैंने अभी आप सबको अनुरोध करके बता दिया है कि हमने जो है ना इसमें सोलर पैनल का प्रोविजन करके और अल्टरनेटिव एनर्जी सोर्स का प्रोविजन किया है जिससे कि आने वाले दिनों में हमारी ULP O&M का जो है कम आएगा। तो इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्शन जो है ना हमारे यूज वाटर मैनेजमेंट के लिए ये हमने SBR टेक्नोलॉजी, MBR टेक्नोलॉजी, RBMBR टेक्नोलॉजी, कंस्ट्रक्शन वेटलैंड, कंस्ट्रक्शन जो है ना इसके ये जो ना लेगून हो गया बस हो गया नहीं, इसमें अलग से इस प्रकार की हमने जो है ना ये हमारे SOR वेस्ट और जो है ना टेक्नोलॉजी ली हैं जो कि हमारे टेक्नोलॉजी टाई अप में जो है ना एग्रीमेंट होगा उस जो है ना वेंडर का। तो इस प्रकार से हमने जो है ना इसमें DPR में प्रोविजंस किए हैं और हमारे RFP को काफ़ी हमने सरल बनाने का प्रयास किया है जिससे कि अधिक से अधिक जो है ना इसमें वेंडर भाग लें और हमारी हर स्कीम जो है ना टाइम बीइंग जो है ना कंप्लीट हो सके। थैंक यू।
सो 3 मेजर इनपुट्स जो मुझे आया बिल्कुल क्लियर है। देखिए, बिग प्लेयर्स आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड। हम जिन STPs की बात कर रहे हैं खासकर स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में बहुत छोटे छोटे टाउन्स की STPs होती हैं और उसके छोटा STP बनेगा तो कोई बड़ा प्लेयर तो आएगा नहीं। अब अगर हम उसी को कंपेयर करें किसी यूरोपियन कंट्री के साथ, तो वहाँ रीजनल बेसिस पे ये काम होता है। एक बड़ा सा एसटीपी बनाया जाता है, उसको हम डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन बोलते हैं, वो उसको बिल्कुल उल्टी साइड जा रहे हैं। वो कहते हैं कि हम एक बड़ा एसटीपी बनाएंगे सेंट्रली, आप अपने टाउन का जितना भी वेस्ट वाटर है कलेक्ट करके एक पंपिंग स्टेशन तक लेके आइए, और उस पंपिंग स्टेशन से टेक इट 20 किलोमीटर्स, राइट। और अगर हम इसको बात करें 20 किलोमीटर बहुत दूर है, तो दूसरा टाउन जो उस तरफ से 20 किलोमीटर है वो भी इसी में डिस्चार्ज करेगा, और इस पूरे सिस्टम से उसका 2 टाउन्स का एक ही जगह पर ट्रीटमेंट हो जाएगा। अब ये जो 20 किलोमीटर की बात है कि ये जो ट्रंक सीवर या फोर्स मेन है, ये 20 किलोमीटर दूर जा रहा है टाउन से, इसकी डिस्टेंस इसका लेंथ जो है वो कितना कंसिडर किया जाए। तो जिन टाउन्स में जब सीवर नेटवर्क बिछेगा, तो तकरीबन 1 लाख पॉपुलेशन के पीछे करीब 100 किलोमीटर का तो नेटवर्क बिछना ही चाहिए। तो अगर 1 लाख का इंटरनल नेटवर्क 100 किलोमीटर का इस साइड है और 1 लाख पॉपुलेशन का दूसरा टाउन है 50,000 पॉपुलेशन का 50 किलोमीटर का उधर, अगर इस तरह से कोई ट्रंक भी डालते हैं, तो दैट इज फाउंड टू बी कन्वीनियंट। एंड इनफैक्ट और जैसे बात इन्होंने किया कि हम प्लांट चलाने के लिए सोलर पैनल लगा रहे हैं, बिकॉज अदरवाइज प्लांट के अंदर जो एनर्जी वायबिलिटी नहीं है, तो वो भी वो मेंटेन करते हैं क्या कि हम अगर काफ़ी सारा लोड इकट्ठा कर ले, करीब 25 MLD का प्लांट अगर लग जाता है, तो वो अपने आप ही प्लांट जो है सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग हो जाता है एज फार एज एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट इज कंसर्न। तो ये 2-3 चीज़ों का जो हम वेरिएशन देखते हैं, आज हम हर टाउन अपना इंडिपेंडेंटली सोच रहा है कि मेरे टाउन की, मेरा एसटीपी, मेरा जो भी है सीवर नेटवर्क मेरा है। की प्रॉब्लम, तो बिग प्लेयर्स आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड। ये हमारा प्लान में आना चाहिए था कि कैसे हम उन बिग प्लेयर्स को इंटरेस्ट करा सके। नाउ वी आर स्टक विद दी स्मॉल प्लेयर्स, तो ये एक इशू है। अब दूसरा कोई स्टेट हमें इसका बेटर सोल्यूशन बता पाएगा इसमें से, लेट अस ट्राई टू सी। O&M इज हाई बिकॉज ऑफ स्मॉल एसटीपी। भाई अगर आपका इकोनॉमी ऑफ स्केल ही नहीं होगा तो O&M तो डेफिनेटली हाई होगा। तो कोई भी लॉजिक, कोई भी इंजीनियर, मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता, सिंस नाउ ओनली इंजीनियर्स आर लेफ्ट हियर, कि क्यों हम क्वेश्चन नहीं करते जब इस तरह की बात कोई करता है कि भाई ये प्लांट जो है अगर हम छोटे छोटे बनाने शुरू कर देंगे, ये काम नहीं करेंगे। आप बड़े टाउन में जब रिक्वायरमेंट शुरू हो जाता है कि आज हमारा बस रिक्वायरमेंट आ गया है, अब ये लोकल टाउन जो है ये टांगा से या रिक्शा से इससे नहीं चलेगा, बस का रिक्वायरमेंट है, दैट इज एज द पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ, बस के बाद देन विल कम टू मेट्रो आनी शुरू हो गए और बड़े बड़े टाउन में, बिकॉज इकोनॉमी ऑफ स्केल वाला जो इशू है वो एक इसके अंदर आता है। तो O&M का भी इशू हमेशा रहेगा छोटे एसटीपी बनाने में। लेट अस ट्राई टू सी इफ सम सोल्यूशन विल बी देयर, बट दीज आर द लॉजिकल पॉइंट जो कि CPHO बार बार बताने की कोशिश करता है। अगर बहुत छोटा जाओगे तो ये प्रॉब्लम हमेशा रहेगी। ओके, एक बड़ा इशू अभी इन्होंने रेज किया है, 5 साल का डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी पीरियड। कोई त्यागी सर, विद योर एक्सपीरियंस, डू यू थिंक 5 years डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी पीरियड में कोई भी काम करना चाहेगा इस सेक्टर में? पार्डन सर? ऐड टू द कॉस्ट। हाँ, ये बहुत जरूरी पॉइंट है। आप, मैं कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के ऊपर सारी लायबिलिटी डाल सकता हूँ, लेकिन कॉस्ट मुझसे ही लेगा ना। वो कहेगा ठीक है आप मेरे को डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी डाल दो, आप मेरे को पेनल्टी लगा दो कि मेरे पास किसी भी आदमी को, या मेरे को सैलरी भी इतनी बढ़ा के देनी है, तो वट एवर यू टेल हिम इट विल कम बैक टू यू। बेसिकली यू हैव टू पे द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर। तो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द इनपुट्स। मेरे पास कोई आउटपुट नहीं है इस चीज़ को देने में, बिकॉज आई एम ओनली अ प्लानर। जो ग्राउंड पे काम कर रहे हैं, मुझे उनके एक्सपीरियंस से ये सीखने की कोशिश करनी है कि आपको ये छोटे एसटीपीज की प्रॉब्लम को हम कैसे सॉल्व करें, ये हाई O&M कॉस्ट को हम कैसे सॉल्व करें, और ये अगर मैं किसी के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी डाल देता हूं तो वो मेरे ऊपर ही कॉस्ट डालने वाला है। तो ये 3 मेरे पास एटलीस्ट क्वेश्चंस यहाँ से आ रहे हैं। लेट अस सी अगर हमारे ऑडियंस में से somebody हैज आंसर, बट लेटर, नॉट नाउ। नाउ आई विल कॉल अपॉन माय नेक्स्ट स्पीकर, मिस्टर प्रणव ढोलिया, हु इज अ टेक्निकल मैनेजर विद गुजरात अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिशन।
Warm greetings to one and all present over here from Gujarat. Quickly start my presentation with the things. So this is the session outline that I want to cover in my session, that how Gujarat is working for the projects and how we are monitoring the things for the projects and all. Under the Urban Development Department of the Gujarat, we have 2 separate body working parallelly. One is Gujarat Urban Development Mission and another one is a Gujarat Urban Development Company. Both the body have their own scope. Gujarat Urban Development Mission is working for the all type of the approvals from the planning to execution for any projects which is going to be executed in the ULB of the Gujarat. and Gujarat Urban Development Company is is a body for the execution of the projects who are doing execution of the projects which is having amount of more than 10 crores. We have also one parastatal body under the water department, Gujarat Water Supply and Sanitation Board, and that body is also working for the execution of the projects. Out of that, we have one separate body, Commissioner of Municipality Administrations. Under that, we have established 6 RCM, and under that 6 RCM, Regional Commissioner of Municipality, we have all the municipalities. So this is the vertical structures of the Gujarat under which we are going to, we are covering all the projects and all things. So this is the basic scenario of the Gujarat municipal corporations and Nagarpalikas, and what is the population, what is the sewerage generation as on date, what established, how many installment capacity which we have for the treatment of the wastewater, and what is the next wastewater that we are going to reuse. Under the SBM, we have selected 13 STPs. Out of the 13 STPs, 4 STPs are under construction and 9 are under tender stage. Under the IND projects, we have selected 31 ULBs. All of that ULBs got approved, and out of that 31 projects, 4 projects have been completed and 27 are undergoing. Moreover, we have we have also purchased the desludging machines through SBM as well as through the CSR and other bodies. Also, we have different state scheme as well as the central support scheme for the development of wastewater facility in the Gujarat. Under the Swarnim Jayanti Mukhyamantri Shahri Vikas Yojana, phase 1, we have covered all the ULBs, and under the phase 2, we have also covered all the ULBs for that extended areas. Under the Amrut mission, we have 171 projects costing 9380 crores. Out of that project, 123 projects are under construction and 48 projects are under planning. These are the details of only liquid waste management projects under the Gujarat state. Also, Jan Bhagidari scheme, it is an innovative which is established by the Gujarat government. Under this scheme, we are providing 7,000 rupees per connection to the municipalities for establishment of the we can say household connection to the sewer line, which is nearly available with their ULB. So starting with our presentation, and this is how we are going to implement our project. Just like all the state DPR preparation, after preparation of the DPR, we are going to approve it through the municipalities, say Nagar Palika, Nagar Nigam. Under the Nagar Nigam, we have 2 different bodies. One is administrative bodies, another one is a political body. So after getting approval of both the bodies, it is going to be approved by RCMs, Regional Commissioner of Municipalities, and then after there is a state level committee which is going to approve these projects. The projects which is having a costing less than 10 crores are being implemented by the Nagar Palika, Nagar Nigam itself, and the projects which is having a amount more than 10 crores which requires some different expertise, which requires some more technical manpowers and machineries, it is being executed by the GUDC as well as GWSSB, as I have stated earlier. So this is the process for the hiring any contractor for the tender publication, pre-bid meetings. We are taking pre-bid meetings after 7 days of the publication, so we are going to reduce the time of extension. जनरली सब जगह पे ये हमने देखा है कि प्री-बिड मीटिंग्स के बाद जो भी हम करेक्शंस लेते हैं उसके बाद हम टेंडर टाइम को एक्सटेंडेड करते हैं टू रिड्यूस दिस टाइम एंड टू मेक द प्रोजेक्ट एज फास्ट एज एग्जीक्यूशन. वी आर डूइंग इट एट द 7 days. After that technical evaluation, it is being done at the state level. Financial assessment will be done as a L1 bidder, low cost bidders. After contract award and contract finalization, work is undergone. So we have also different verticals at the state level for the different projects. Design consultant, PMU to monitor the projects, project implementation unit, PMC at the site to monitor the projects. Also we are inviting third party inspection for all the projects to ensure the quality of the projects, and funding also there. This is the detailed scope of work of PMU as well as the DPI agencies for each and every project which is being implemented either by Nagar Nigam or by GWSSB or GUDC, whatever the execution body is there. So for the review of the projects, it is most important part as far as I concern that we are going to review each and every project at the different stage, at the different timing period. Starting with the highest authority, our CS sir, Chief Secretary sir is going to review each and every project on monthly basis. Under that, Principal Secretary sir is also going to review the projects on weekly basis. They are, and also we are listening all the Nagarpalikas, all the RCMs for their issues, and we are trying to get it down as soon as possible so we can able to execution. We can make the execution fast of these projects. Also, we are having RCM meetings at Nagarpalika level, and also different meetings are there to monitor the projects. These are the challenges that we are facing, or we can say we all are facing in these things. Managing the progress of the project under various schemes. For this, we are preparing one dashboard which cover all the schemes, state as well as central scheme, in which all type of the project details available to monitor the things. Another one is the difficulty to identify the project timelines, because a number of things are there like land, electricity, availability, stakeholders, consultation and all. For the land at the state level, Gujarat has created a one land cell which is covered, which is chaired by the Principal Secretary sir. Under that land cell, Deputy Collector of each and every district is a member of that land cell. So if there is an issue in the land acquisition, we are going to meet on every 15 days, on every week, and we are trying to get the land as soon as possible to make it fast. Lack of interest from the bidders in the smaller projects. ये हम सबने देखा है कि जहाँ पे प्रोजेक्ट्स बहुत छोटे हो जाते हैं वहाँ पे बिडर्स का इंटरेस्ट इतना नहीं होता है जहाँ पे जितने बड़े में होता है. तो हमने ये किया है कि जो नगर निगम एक दूसरे से बहुत नज़दीक है उसको हमने क्लस्टर में प्रोजेक्ट लिया है. जैसे 4-5 नगर निगम का प्रोजेक्ट है उसको हम एक क्लस्टर बना देंगे, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू फ्लोट वन सिंगल टेंडर फॉर ऑल दैट नगर निगम, सो वी कैन गेट बीडर फास्टली एंड वी शुड अवॉइड द रीटेंडरिंग प्रोसेस. Also, we are under process of empanelment of the contractors. This empanelment will work for different regions and to execute the project without wasting a time in the tendering process. We are also, as I stated, continuous follow-up system are there from the state level to the Nagar Nigam level. And at the last, standard format. It is most important to identify the progress of the project. For that, we have created different type of the data forms which is required for the billing process, which is also required for the submissions and all. We have also created one checklist for the QC QA, quality assurance, quality control. Also, state road and building department of the Gujarat government has identified one standard bidding document. In the standard bidding document, there are two type of module is there. One is mandatory modules and second one is a flexible. Under the urban development department, we are going to publish one SBD for ourselves, which is having our own clauses, so it will be more helpful to execution of the project of Gujarat. That's from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sorry to interrupt the panel. There is an urgent announcement for all participants who are leaving today, that is on the 20th, who are leaving Lucknow today. Kindly check out of your hotel rooms in Centrum immediately. The checkout timings were 11. I think we are already overdue. Kindly do so at the earliest.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed back in case your staff is, but don't just get out of the room just because this is an opportunity. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pranav, for a very detailed presentation. I could find that my understanding was that this GUDM itself is an implementing agency. Okay. So you have your subcontractors. So the municipality gives the works to you if it's more than 10 crores. You can come here. So my understanding was that the municipality, the system in Gujarat is that the municipal body, in case the project cost is going to be more than 10 crores, will be given to GUD.
If the project cost is more than 10 crore, then a GUDC, Gujarat Urban Development Company, which is owned by the Urban Development Department, is going to execute the project.
Execute means you will be
on-site executions.
Subcontracting the work.
Yes,
contractors.
yes. They are floating the tenders and all, and they are inviting the bidders for their work. Okay. GUDM is a body separately, we can say a nodal agency for planning of the project planning to the stage of the execution, means at the work order level. After giving of the work order, GUDC will come in the pictures.
Okay. So this is the system which this state is going ahead with, which seems to be very interesting also because a set of professionals is brought together and they take care of this entire flow of funds as well as monitoring. I think they also got a very elaborate monitoring system. And the same problem about small contracts, the lack of interest by serious bidders. So for this, what they have done is clustering. That could be another idea that, okay, all these small STPs in this zone will be taken up by one contractor. So the contract is rolled out like this. So this is something which can also be thought of. But again, the issue of small contracts being more costly will always be at our, that will also cause us concern. Next, we have learnings from Karnataka, for which we have Shri Karthikeyan, Chief Engineer, KUI DFC.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. So I am Karthikeyan. I am working as project management expert and not as chief engineer, as Sir has informed. So let us see the journey of Karnataka, what we have done so far. So Karnataka has 317 urban local bodies, of which 287 ULBs. Next one. Yeah. Karnataka has total 317 urban local bodies, of which 287 urban local bodies are less than 1 lakh population as per 2011 census. So these are the ULBs which we are targeting under use water management of Swachh Bharat Urban 2.0 component. So this is as per the statistics, Karnataka generates about 3,386 MLD of sewage, of which the installed capacity is 2646 MLD of capacity, of which 2047 is currently operational, and there is a difference in gap of about 598 MLD. Thus, the overall gap in the sewerage treatment is 1,308 MLD, which we are trying to address in this project to the extent possible. So under SPM 2.0, so the sewerage treatment plants have been planned in 268 ULBs for a capacity of 927 MLD, and then interception and diversion drains of 1,666 km has been proposed. Cesspool vehicles of 147 numbers, and then the sewer cleaning equipments of 73 have been proposed under Swachh Bharat mission. So apart from this, what the state has built a unique strategy is, we had an NGT Environmental Compensation Fund amounting to about 3,500 crores. So that includes solid waste as well as liquid waste management. So whereas for the, and then of course there is a big brother called Bangalore, so which consumes a lot of money in terms of all infrastructures. So excluding Bangalore, for use water management, 1,919 crores are available for use water management component, which we are utilized here. So thus the strategy is as follows, what you can see is here. So the state has planned for 110 FSTPs, wherever the population is less than 30,000, and also to upgrade and repair the existing infrastructure in more than 1 lakh population in about 20 urban local bodies. And wherever the existing systems are there the state has proposed for upgradation, so connecting the missing links, and the house service connections in about 27 urban local bodies, with a greenfield sewerage system in about 7 urban local bodies. So ultimately, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban Fund and the Environmental Compensation Fund are converged and the projects are proposed. So next, with regard to the procurement of PDMCs, so PDMCs have been added. So we have used the state as the unique e-procurement platform called KPP portal. So this is as per the Karnataka Transparency in Public Procurement Act. So all tenders will be united through the e-platform, for which the consultants have been appointed. PDMC, Project Development and Management Consultants, are appointed to prepare the designs, DPR preparation, then the tender bid management process, construction supervision, and the monitoring services. So they are added based on certain eligibility criteria, as well as some qualifying criteria. The method of selection, what the state has adopted, is the least cost method. Some of the qualification criteria includes their financial turnover in the last 2 years, in the preceding 5 years, and then the similar work done, and also the working experience with the government, and the work plan and the methodology. So what is the approach and methodology they have adopted? What is their staffing schedule? All those things are evaluated. Apart from the key technical personnel CVs evaluated. So these are some of the waste management experts, then procurement specialists, design engineers, structural engineers, construction managers, all those people. So, and then in the support staff, we have accommodated for site engineers, also the data entry operators, and other supporting staffs. Coming back to the contractors, how we are hiring, the contracts are on the design DBOT basis, design, build, operate, and transfer basis. So these are also under the e-procurement portal of Government of Karnataka as per KTPP Act. So we look into the certain qualifying criteria, like the corruptive practices and the fraudulent practices. This is the common one in any tenders we follow. So apart from that, the specified qualification criteria includes the turnover, and then their quantity, similar work done. So minimum quantity of work done. So whatever, for example, if the earth work or cement concrete, so WMM, in the project, if you are proposing, so those things, at least then 80% of the quantities, they should have been executed. And also we liquid into their liquid assets, and then their credit facilities for 3 months during the period, as well as we, of course, evaluate their tender assessing capacities. So based on the inputs of the contractors, we have made provision for joint venture as well. So in which the maximum of 2 joint venture partners are allowed. So of course, the lead bid partner will be the 50% stakeholder in this partnership. Also, we have made provision for subcontracting. So where certain specialized work, like electrical works or some other works are involved, we have made provision for the subcontracting as well. So how do we procure the services of these contractors or the PDFCs? First, we notify in the e-procurement portal. Then it is also published in the national level newspaper and also in the state level newspaper. Apart from publishing it in the respective websites and also the notice boards. So after that, the proposals are received. Then the pre-bid conferences are held. So wherein we address the queries, to give the comfort, to give the knowledge about the project and the details of the project, so that the prospective bidders can be participating with ease, and also the necessary addendums and the modifications are uploaded in the websites. So apart from that, during the technical assessment, technical evaluation committees are formed, so which will be evaluated, and then these are again scrutinized by the technical scrutiny committee at the level of chief engineer, and then they recommend the technical bid to the state level technical committee. Further, on approval of SLTC, so SSPC approves the bid and the contract is awarded, and then LOA is issued through the e-procurement platform. Then the agreements are concluded, and that's how the implementation commences. So what are the challenges in procurement? Some of the challenges we faced or something like that, the contract size. So as previous speakers have mentioned, the contract size, some of the allocations are very small in some of the ULBs. So that is one major issue. Apart from that, there is the working conditions is also limited, which is challenging for some of the contractors, where the laborers are not willing to work in the sewage environment. And also because of the utilities per se are being affected, for which they will be liable. And also the public cooperation is limited because their movements are being restricted, so along with the hindrance to the surroundings and their environment. So in order to address these issues, we have made some contractors conferences very frequently. So in this regard, what we have done is we have taken up 4 ULBs in a particular district, and then we clustered it and we called a tender, and we were successful in obtaining this tender. This tender has been currently awarded in the Mysore district for this sewerage project. So what are the other implementation mechanisms the state has adopted is the Technical Scrutiny Committee, which is headed by the Executive Director Technical, wherein the internal chief engineers and the external experts are being formed as part of this committee, who review all the reports, technical evaluations, and then they submit the report for the consideration of SLTC and the SHPCs. Apart from that, the day-to-day, the field level issues, interdepartmental coordination issues, and also land-related issues are being addressed by the district-level coordination committee headed by the respective district commissioners. We also formed a project implementation unit at the district level as well as the ULB level combined, so that they monitor the works day-to-day in the field. Of course, the PDMC has the mandate of looking into the quality control and the certification of bills. So I have been asked to speak about the overview of the monitoring mechanisms available. So let me discuss some points, whatever is available with the state and also what we intend to do. So these are some of the pointers. For example, digital dashboard. We have currently existing digital dashboard, so which needs to be customized, for which under Swachh Bharat mission, 3 crores rupees has been action plan for which has been approved under the capacity building component, so which will be taking it up. So this will be implemented through our in-house organization called KMDS, Karnataka Municipal Data Society, which cater for the urban local bodies, reforms and the IT initiatives. So next, the on-site inspections are regularly being carried out. So we have 4 revenue divisions in Karnataka. So all the 4 revenue divisions have been mandated with a particular group headed by the executive engineer, who frequently visit their field and inspect the progress made, and also whatever the hindrances are made in the field, so those are being addressed. Apart from that, there is a reporting mechanism as well. So we have devised some certain standard formats for the reporting purposes as well. The stakeholders engagement, so ULB is involved in all stages of DPR preparation, right from survey, soil investigation and the DPR preparation. So the DPRs, what they prepare, they forwarded to head office KUDFC, which is the implementing agency for the used water management, wherein we scrutinize the DPRs, review it and place for approval, and the tenders are invited. So at all stages, the ULBs are involving their respective councils as well as some of the MLAs who are keen to participate and very interested to know what are the things happening in their respective cities. Then coming back to the contract management, so earlier state has this KPPP portal, which is limited to up to the award of work. So now the government of Karnataka has taken initiative contract management module, wherein the milestone-wise progress are being reviewed, which can be reviewed. Also, there is a provision for entering the measurements, billing system, and then payment mechanism. So currently, our Chief Secretary has made it mandatory for all the urban local bodies and the entire state mechanism to adopt this, so which is a mandatory, which will be adopting it. Apart from that, we have this OCEMS, Online Continuous Emission Monitoring System. So though MOHUA doesn't advise this, we are following it only for a bigger size project. So wherein the real-time effluent inflow and the outflow data are being obtained, so which is very much essential. Then of course, as JS Madam said, the data management is a huge Herculean task. So for effective monitoring and the management of the projects, data needs to be available, and that too the right data needs to be present. So though there are data available which are not reliable, which are not effective, and then qualitative, each time it varies. So that's the reason we have devised some certain online system to address this data management system as well. So these are some of the monitoring systems which the states are intent to adopt or which have been in practice. So apart from this, just one more thing is regarding the public grievance redressal. State has this integrated public grievance redressal system. So wherein it's an online platform where anyone can register their complaints and then grievances are processed and redressed. So this is available for all the departments and all the subjects. The same are being followed for the use management as well. So these are some of the initiatives which are followed. Thank you. So we have started the journey, so we'll reach the destination. Thank you once again.
Right. Regarding the monitoring, I'll request Karnataka and other states also to have a look at the Swachhtam portal. There are proper modules created for monitoring, and that will help us in creating the comparative analysis also of all the monitoring activities at the same level. You create your own dashboard and somebody else creates his own dashboard. So this may create, will be ineffective, I would believe. But you can just have a look at it. In case there are certain components which need to be improved, certain modules which need to be added to Swachhtam, even that can be looked into. The rest, I could understand that they're also facing the same problem of small bid sizes. And again, believe that QAUFDC is also something similar to JUDC, Kerala Urban Infrastructure Development and Finance Corporation. And you take on the work which is given to the state or the cities, and then you consolidate that, and then you get subcontractors and get them executed. I would believe that you had stated that around 200 people have been posted in or acquired as PDMCs. Those are available to you and they have been released to the cities? Pardon? So 195 people are given to your cities, or are they all in the headquarters? Okay. Okay. So they have this facility which they have created, and then we find a very standard DBOT system has been adopted for engaging a contractor. So thank you. Next we have our speaker on behalf of Maharashtra State. Is it? Yes. Ms. Jagisha.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'll just, I'm sure everybody knows about Maharashtra, but starting with the context of Maharashtra, that there are 412 urban local governments in Maharashtra with 6 divisions and contributing to 60 million plus urban population. So the state of Maharashtra was one of the states that's all right, one slide is missing. So one of the initial states which got all of its 412 city sanitation action plans approved, while 368 cities are there in Maharashtra of its population is less than 1 lakh population. So all of these and all the city sanitation action plans were prepared in a consolidated manner, considering all the aspects of STPs, IND networks, and the desludging equipments wherever required. So the approach which the state took was that for the ULBs which had more than 50,000 population, they were more intended to go towards 100% of sewer network coverage and building of STPs, while the ULBs which were ranging in the population of 20,000 to 50,000 population, they were adopted a mixed approach where the key area where sewer network was possible, the sewer network implementation is proposed. And the remaining area, the open drains would be converted into closed drains, or the closed drains would be made better and efficient. And the interceptor and drain approaches taken up in the 20,000 to 50,000 population ULBs, as well as for the less than 20,000 population ULB. The key focus is currently on implementing open drains and converting them into closed drains, and building up interceptor and drains, and focusing on STP developments. So coming to the procurement and the implementation process, I'll start with a little bit taking a step back on the DPR process, where for the DPR preparation, the state has empaneled 24 agencies for UWM DPR preparations, where currently the state has approved around 8 DPR proposals and 21 DPR approvals are underway. And of the 8 approved, we have around 4 to 6 projects which are on the implementation stage. And similarly for solid waste management also, the state has empaneled 5 agencies for the 6 divisions of Maharashtra. So for the DPR preparation and approval process, there were various consultation meetings and the review meetings were conducted. With the support of CPHU also, we thank them for their valuable contributions, and the meetings and discussions were held with the empaneled agencies, and then few key challenging areas were identified, and then they were addressed accordingly in those meetings. And for the DPR validation and approvals, the agencies which prepared the DPR were first approved by at the ULB level, and then were sent at the state level for the state level technical committee approvals, as well as then were approved by the state high powered committees. And along with that, there was an on-ground verification which also used to take place, where the mission office at the state level, the officials from the mission office used to go on field to also understand the actual ground realities and compare it with the DPR, and then further give the green flag for the approval of the DPRs. So the state of Maharashtra. Yes. Okay. So on the implementing agency part, Maharashtra has taken two approaches. One is for the procurement of the desludging equipments and the suction vehicles and the jetting machine. It has taken a centralized approach, where instead of each city procuring one desludging vehicles, they have taken a centralized state approach, where all the desludging equipments are procured at the state level. So this has helped at the state level and as well as on the financial end, because large-scale service providers were available and they came up with a better price, better cost for delivering the desludging equipments as well as the jetting machines across various ULBs. This will also, it is also envisaged that this will also help in the operations and the maintenance part, where the smaller service providers sometimes lag in maintaining the trucks when the trucks break down. There is sometimes a possibility that the headquarter of the trucks is at some big city, and then the transportation and the logistics management for the smaller provider becomes challenging, while here where the larger service providers are available, so it becomes easier for the maintenance part as well. On the other side of the UWM projects, currently there are 6 cities where the UWM projects on STPs and interceptor and drains are in implementation stage, where in a few cities, the cities have taken up the first installments, and first installments are released, as well as the work orders are given to the contractors. While there is a few good performing cities where Panchgani has done second installment release to this to the contractors. Now here this approach of the state is that it is not a state driven approach. The ULBs lead this. So the RFP is floated by the ULBs, the tendering process is conducted by the ULBs, and the selection of the contractors is also conducted by the ULB. So currently, I'll take a step back just to convey the message from the state, which is also that in our city sanitation action plans, as you can see, the length of the interceptor and drains is higher, and the current, which is based on the actual ground realities, the DPR proposals, the actual length is coming lesser. So one of the key constraint which is coming out is that the fund which are required for interceptor and drain is less. However, on the other side, the fund required for the STPs are higher, considering the revision of the schedule of rates in Maharashtra. Since 2021, now in 23-24, the schedule of rates are revised, which is leading to higher cost in the DPR preparation, as well as the geographic condition. The cost of sand as well as other material is also higher. So, and the other part is that the state also wants to take up the approach of nature-based treatment technologies. However, when the DPRs are coming up, it is coming, the cost of the nature-based technologies is coming as high as the MBBR technologies or similar technologies in Maharashtra, and they are also requiring a higher footprint area. So that is becoming a challenge in adopting the nature-based technologies. So request from the state side is for MAUA to consider, if possible, to give a pool of funding to the ULB and a permission given to the ULB to use the funding for the components which are present across sewage treatment plant and interceptor and drains. As I mentioned earlier, that sometimes the interceptor and drains actual length is lesser than what is estimated in the city sanitation action plans. So that will balance out the fund which is required, additional fund which is required for the sewage treatment plants. So this is a key request to the ministry from our end. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagisha. Now, regarding this component about funding, Dr. Chaurasia may like to have you would like to answer this situation when our state at this moment of time is seeking more funds.
Yes, in this case, from our side, it is very clear. Once a CSP is approved, if there is variation in one component, the saving from other component can always be added. Even in some case, because of peculiar condition of the town, whatever has been estimated in CSAP based on actual, let us say, estimation and design, cost goes up. That is also fine. That can be even made from saving from some other town. So those all facilities are available. No need to any worry. और उसमें कहीं पे lack of clarity की वजह से hold up नहीं करना है, बहुत administrative नहीं बनना है कि ये CSAP approved है, इसे हिल नहीं सकते. That was a preliminary planning sort of things. When in DPR stage there is variation and your technical committee is approving, you can go ahead with that, right?
So rest, I believe this is a different model where the easy procurement of machines, etc., is being done centrally, and then the cities are left to make their own STP and networking ka liye jo hai, that is left to the cities to do. So this is where if you don't have an organization like GUDM or GUDC or the Karnataka example, so this is the other way which some of the states are approaching this. So we may have these are all learnings. We can't say that this is a better mechanism than the other or a worse mechanism, but prima facie it appears that if you leave it to the city, then the same problem comes. Good contractors will not come to a small city and the cost will be high. So all these things need to be looked into with the interest of the, you could say, the public funding. So the decision makers have to take a call on that. My last speaker is to give us a perspective on actual contractor, I believe. And the organization Mr. Pawan Kulkarni represents is ESTPL, which I believe is Ecologic Science Technique something. Please.
Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais,
Good afternoon to you all. Here I'm feeling myself as an odd man out because we are a company, private company, bidding. If get awarded, we go into the field and implement the projects for which you guys have worked so hard to bring it to that level. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for the efforts that you put in to bring the project to a stage where people like us can come and implement it. So I'm going to share contractors' perspective, the challenges that contractors get into the field while implementing the projects. So just to give a glimpse that we are all here for SBM 2 relevant objectives, in which our role is in water management, ensuring grey and black water management in cities, treating all wastewater before discharging into water bodies. We are also talking about Sustainable Development Goals 2030 and institutional strengthening. So the role of contractor in entire value chain is to bring expertise in execution of infrastructure projects, technical expertise and specialized skill necessary for implementing the complex projects, bringing in some innovative approaches and cost-effective solutions during the execution, scalability and reach of SBM, because SBM2 has a vast area to cover from urban to rural sector. We are mandated to stick to, adhere to the standards and regulations while doing the construction, and involvement in maintenance and monitoring and keeping projects useful. As you have seen in most of the states nowadays, projects come with 5-year DLP and operation maintenance things. So we have to stick to the standards and maintenance and monitoring aspect of the project. So I'm not going to touch all these points because DPR has been already discussed quite a bit in detail in last couple of sessions. But I would just like to bring one small point which people have missed somehow, I don't know. Everyone talked about site selection and the availability of land. What we as contractor also face as a challenge is approach road to those sites. Many a times we are being given sites which are not so much approachable, and then we have to face problems with the surrounding population not giving us the way to reach to the site with our heavy vehicles, and that becomes causes the delays in the implementation of the projects. This has already been considered here in the discussion, so I'm not going to go into that. So implementation related challenges. Providing land by ULBs, challenges when the land is not government owned, and then once the DPR consultant identifies the land, we have to wait for longer time for government to clear that land of all the legal issues and hand it over to the contractors. Approach road not being there is another issue. Then electrical supply, many a time there is no electrical supply coming up to the site provided, so we have to go to electricity boards and keep on requesting for the line to be provided till the site so that we can start the implementation work. Timely approval of site-specific drawings, because see, once the contract has been awarded and agreement has been signed, our time period starts getting counted. So delays in approval of drawings and approach roads and these kinds of issues also fallbacks on the contractor at the end of the day, saying you have delayed the implementation. Whereas actual times should start calculated once all these clearances and everything has been done. Sometimes we are being asked to go for third party certifying for structural drawings or drawing approvals, and timely completion of MPs and bill processing, as GS ma'am also talked about, and many people here talked about delays in the payment. Contractor cannot invest all the full 100% of the project cost. They depend on RA bills. So first RA bill get processed, during which the contractor is already working on second RA bill. But if first RA bill is not cleared, by the time second installment of work gets completed, third installment of work suffers. And in generally, a project costs around 5 to 6 CR, 10 CR, there are 4 to 5 RA bills. So RA bill processing and payment on time becomes crucial aspect when it comes to timely completion of the projects. Now, major challenges, resource availability. Many a time skilled laborers are not available, so we have to depend on local laborers. So we have to train them, so a lot of time goes into that. Site condition and environmental challenges, such as when the project is starting, what are the soil weather condition there, and accordingly we have to come up with the plans. Then regulatory and compliance issues, delays caused by failure to obtain necessary permits, because that is not a contractor's job, that has to be done by the authorities and then hand over the parcel of land to us so that we can start working. Communication gaps, yes, this is a big issue. If there is not an open channel of communication between the authorities and the contractor, there is a communication gap which leads to the delays. Budget constraints, of course, if the start of the project is delayed by 6 months, 1 year, the cost escalations are there. But then when contractor goes back to the authorities saying the project got delayed and now costs has escalated, they say no, you have to restrict yourself within the costs given, and this way the project starts suffering. Time delays, of course, sometimes there are labor shortages, weather conditions, supply chain disturbance. A very good example, what we faced during the COVID. A lot of projects got delayed, but you have to cope up with that, and then still we have to deliver the projects on time. Stakeholder management, conflict or dissatisfaction among stakeholders is a very common thing, and we keep on engaging with the stakeholders so that there are no miscommunications. Technology adaptations, yes, of course, we are being given a task, whatever tender has been awarded. On that basis, we have to do the implementation, but then making laborers work accordingly becomes a challenge. Health and safety risk. There are always some kind of accidents that might happen, so we have to plan for that, and accordingly we have to provide all the protective equipment and conducting regular safety drills. Cash flow issues, which I already talked about. Now, site-specific challenges like we faced in Wadi Bandar. The DPR was prepared, and we were not told that there are a lot of underground utility lines already there. When we started execution and excavations, that time we came to know that there is a high tension line which supplies, Wadi Bandar is in Mumbai, and the high tension line was going through there, and it was supplying power to entire South Mumbai. Any damage to that high tension line would have caused a havoc in Mumbai. Then we had to stop work. We had to contact the authorities, we had to tell them, and our project got delayed by almost a year because electricity authorities and railways could not come on terms how to go further with the projects, and the project suffered because of that. Now we have been awarded work for Soyat Kalan in MP. Thank you for the same. So here we are facing one challenge which we are in consultation with the authorities. The first site that was given to us had this flood risk challenge because it was below the high flood line. So we asked for an alternate site. Now their alternate site has a topographical issue, and it requires now 2 different INDs because the outfalls are far away. So now we will have to propose 2 INDs, bring the whole water to a single site, wherein we will start implementing it. We as a contractors also go for water samples, site surveys, and accordingly we plan the whole implementation process. These are some photographs and key takeaways. Site-specific issues to be addressed in DPR level itself. Increased stakeholder engagements, ULBs, designers and technology providers. Selection of environmentally benign and low carbon footprint technologies is ask of the day. And operation and maintenance needs to be technology specific, because in most of this DPR what we are seeing, sir, is a size of small STP 500 KLD or 1 MLD. We are being asked to depute 8 people, 10 people, which is not required, which adds to the cost to the ULB and makes the project costly. So if technology specific manpower has to be asked for, then the cost of project will go down and it will be more feasible. Thank you. That was my 2 cents to this gathering. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
In fact, we should have more interactions with the real contractors on ground. Wonderful, ending to this. Illogical demands on contractors sometimes may. I'll not be speaking much about how to conclude this session, but we are graced by presence of Shri R.S. Tyagi, who was member Drainage Delhi Jal Board. And Tyagi sir, if you can just conclude this entire session and your own experience. He's got experience of almost 40 years at the highest level of implementation in Delhi. So maybe he'll be the right person to give us his guidance.
Namaskar. Thank you, Kakkar Saab, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience of more than 44 years experience. And I will explain within 4 minutes only. So they are my observations. I would like to give the compliment to all the eminent speaker for giving such beautiful presentation. But there are some my experience which I am sharing with you during pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction. So there are 3 phases of construction of the projects. So what do we do then when we construct, when we prepare the DPR? There are 2 things, very important things are missing. One is the pre-feasibility report, and the second one is the EIA report, Environment Impact Assessment. The 2 things are missing in all the, in maximum of the DPR, which I have evaluated so many times. Because feasibility report is very important part of the project. If you don't have the land, your project will be turned down. If your alignment is not encroachment free, or it is there is no feasible alignment, you will end up with the laying of the sewer lines. So this should be physically visited before execution of any contract, any work. It should not be based on the say Google map or any other map which is provided to you. You should physically verify the site whether it is available or it is encroachment free. The second is the tender process. Sometimes what do we do that we follow the CBDW guidelines? Yes, of course we should follow. But sometimes we incorporated such stringent conditions that the competent contractors are not tendered in. And sometimes we are so loose in giving the tender conditions that incompetent contractors come in. So our conditions should be so realistic and feasible that the competent, only competent bidder can tender with you, so that for the successful of the completions. The third one is during executions. Of course, every ULB or any water utility departments are facing the short of manpowers. And due to this reason, the supervision of the site is very poor. It is left on the mercy of the contractor, whatever you are doing. And we have to follow the specifications also in the tender conditions, that we have to test the concrete with some certain volume of one set of cube has to be tested in 7 days, then after 28 days. What we do? We allow them to give the concreting, do the concrete, but we prepare the mix of right kind so that the cubes are not filled. This practice should be avoided during the execution. The actual sample should be taken for testing the cubes in the laboratory, and other also sieve analysis. There are so many tests that should be done in actual. Don't to favor the contractor, but it should be in actual, so that your quality of the contract is ensured. Then there will not be any necessity to give the 5 years defect liability. You can give the 1 year defect liability, because if you have confident that you have done the strict supervision at the site. The third one is, the fourth one is what we do, that we don't include the key parameters with the output parameters. For example, we are giving the O&M of, say, 5 years or 10 years, and we don't give the provision of penalizing him if he does not meet the requirement of the output parameters. Say if you have designed the STP for 10 BOD, 10 SS, and it is giving more than 10 or more than 15, what are you doing? Nothing else. You are not penalizing. The condition should be such that if there are so many events beyond this parameter, he will be penalized. Yeah, he will not be release the O&M for such and such amount. So some key parameters which are some measurables, which are not measurable. Measurable are that some quantity has been treated, which has been specified in your tender conditions. If he has not treated that much quantity, then he will be disqualified for taking the payment of O&M. So some key parameters should be included with your tender conditions while releasing the payment. And the main important thing is that after execution of the project, after completion of the project, what we are facing in Delhi, that you have designed the entire system for, say, for the design parameter of, say, 60 GPCD. The sewage generation is, say, 20 MLD of this city. And the sewage is reaching at the sewage treatment plant is hardly 10 or 12 MLD. And remaining is going to the drains. Ultimately, the Yamuna is polluted. So what we found when we did the intensive study, that the persons who are connecting the sewer line, they are connecting only the soil waste, not the kitchen waste. So grey water is going to the drain, and only soil waste is coming to the sewer, and that is reaching to the sewage treatment plant, and sewage treatment plant are underutilized because of grey water is not reaching there. So that should be ensured that it should not be left on the mercy of the individuals. It should be strictly supervised by the ULB that the sewers are connected with the entire wastewater of the individual houses, so that your sewage treatment plant treats every waste which is coming from the individual houses. And as rightly said Kakkar Saab, that when you design any STP or when you select the STP, that should be not so small, because O&M of the plant is the same of the, say, 1 MLD will be equal to the 5 MLD. And what should be the appropriate size? That is a very debatable issue. 5 MLD may be the sizable issue, or 10 MLD may be the sizable issue. For that, what we have done in Delhi, we have made the clusters of colonies. So when we arrived at 5 MLD, say up to 5 to 10 MLD, we took all the colonies, rural villages, urban villages, into one decentralized sewage treatment plant. We connected all the colonies and constructed a 10 MLD plant at the center locations, so that the size of the plant is appropriate and all the colonies are served with the similar plants. So that is some sort of centralized, even as it is also decentralized plant of appropriate size. So there are so many case studies with me, but the time is less. I cannot describe it. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you, sir, for concluding the session so nicely. I now request Dr. V.K. Chaurasya, advisor to CPHEO, to kindly felicitate our concluding speaker for today. For the concluding. Thank you, panelists. I request you all come forward to take a photo. Kindly come forward, step forward for a group photo. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Before we break.